on CBS, coming to you today from East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Jets and the Steelers meeting for the first time since 1992. We'll have the kickoff when we return. Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew at the Meadowlands. Bill Cowher. Last week, his team did not give up a big play in that victory over Jacksonville. He told us that was the difference in Pittsburgh getting its first win. John Hall kicks it off. Troy Edwards, the return man, trying to cut it to the outside, circling towards the sideline. And he is trampled down as he crosses the 25-yard line. Lavernius Coles among those chasing him down after the 20-yard return. Well, as of yesterday, Kordell Stewart didn't have the official word, but this morning he knew for sure. And Stewart is the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh here today.
What I like about Kordell Stewart at this time in his career, he's finally relaxed. He's had an opportunity to stay on the sidelines, look at the quarterback position from a different perspective, and he felt he's learned a lot from this, and he's grown through it. He played very well last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A record of 13 and 15 as a starter since 1997. Open up in a double tight end set. Off the bootleg. Stewart rolling out, throwing to the sideline, and a flag comes down. Corey Geeson, backup tight end, making the catch for a pickup of about 4, but as mentioned, a flag on the play. And against New York.
56 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
And we hear from Jerry Austin early on, our veteran referee. Pittsburgh offense, Shar Pordanish getting the start once again for the injured Marvell Smith. Smith out with a knee injury. Backs and receivers, and that toughness is back for Pittsburgh because of the play of Jerome Bettis, reestablishing that running game, something they did last week against Jacksonville.
And that provides a lot of toughness, and it's a mental toughness for the guys up front to know that you can pound the football offensively. You get that mentality that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, we're going to run the football. It's great energy for your football team.
On a first down from the 34, give it off to the bus. Bettis cannot get to the outside, but a flag comes down at the end of the play. Marvin Jones with a pursuit. No gain. 2 plays from scrimmage, 2 flags.
Illegal use of hands to the face, 72 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Veteran left tackle Wayne Gandy caught on the second play from scrimmage. New York Jets defensively, no, they are not big names on that defensive line, but one name is missing. Jason Ferguson is out because of an ankle injury. Ernie Logan gets the start. Linebackers, no doubt, the strong suit of this defense with Pfeiffer, Jones, Cox, Lewis. You'll see Farrier as well. And in the secondary, matchup of size today, Marcus Coleman and Plexico Burris. Burris listed at 6'5". We're set on 1st and 20. Hand off. Bettis has some running room as Bettis crosses the 35 and is chased out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Good block by Wayne Gandy on that left side for a 12-yard pickup.
Now, not only Wayne Gandy, but the interior line for the Steelers. Jerome Bettis wants to take this ball inside. There's nothing there, but he's got the quick feet. He can get to the outside, and that's one thing about a big man like Jerome Bettis, 250 pounds. You don't expect him to have the fast feet and to get to the corner and turn it up, but he can do that.
28 carries, 97 yards last week, a couple of touchdowns in that surprising 24-13 win in Jacksonville. In fact, the first time the Steelers have ever won down there.
They just manhandled the Jaguars in their own backyard. They did it on offense, defense, and special teams. It was a thorough rear-end kicking for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
On 2nd and 8, short drop, a throw, and a miscommunication with Plexico Burris. Burris hadn't even turned yet, and the ball was by him. Marcus Coleman, as we mentioned, the one-on-one coverage.
Now, we're going to see a lot of that today, a little miscommunication because of the quarterback and wide receivers. They're not in sync. Kent Graham was a starter for this first team, first unit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All of a sudden, Kordell Stewart comes in last week, does a great job passing the ball around, running with the football. He earns the start today, but they don't have the opportunity to stay with one quarterback. The first-team quarterback needs to be with the first-team wide receivers. In this situation, the Steelers don't have that luxury. They keep moving their quarterbacks back and forth because of injury.
But the Steelers will tell you there is no quarterback controversy. Once Graham is healthy, he'll be back in there. In fact, Kent Graham will be the first to tell you that. On 3rd and 8, scrambling ability of Kordell Stewart, and it doesn't pay off. Roman Pfeiffer from the backside. And a loss on the play that'll go down as a sack.
And this is a key element. When Kordell Stewart drops back in the pocket, you've got to have a spy on him. And that spy is number 56, Roman Pfeiffer. The key on this is he's going in on the blitz, but he contains, he widens his feet, breaks down just in front of Kordell Stewart, and he doesn't allow him to get past him. Kordell Stewart wants to look down the field first. He doesn't see anything. Now he's going to take off and run. The Jets know that. They don't want him to run in the middle of the field. They will have a spy in the middle of the field on quarterback Kordell Stewart.
Josh Miller from East Brunswick, New Jersey, local product. Punts it away. Dedrick Ward from the 24. Ward trying to cut it upfield, and he is stacked up at the 30-yard line. A 7-yard return after the 43-yard punt. And John Fiala making the stop on special teams. We'll see the Jets offense for the first time this afternoon when we come back. Head coach of the Jets, Al Groh, lived in relative anonymity as an assistant coach under Bill Parcells. A lot of that has to do with Parcells' philosophy and his policy that assistants do not talk to the media. So a lot of people in New York didn't really know who Al Groh was. They know him now, off to a 4-0 start. Testaverde back in the pocket on a 1st and 10. Hit as he throws. And Testaverde took a shot. Vinny Testaverde grabbing at his hand, lying on his back at the 18-yard line. Jason Gildon cutting through. And Jets fans now holding their collective breath. First play from scrimmage.
They go with the play-action pass. Jason Gildon comes scot-free right up the middle, right up the pipe on quarterback Vinny Testaverde. He didn't have a chance. He had to take the hit. He just couldn't get out of the way.
What a sight this is. After what happened last year to Testaverde in the opener against the New England Patriots.
They run a stunt on the outside. It's a simple stunt, end tackle stunt. There goes Jason Gildon. He beats Randy Thomas and right in Vinny Testaverde's face.
It's hard to tell. He must have come down awkwardly as Gildon twirled him down to the grass.
One, it was the hit, and two, it was his body weight. Right there when he pulls him down. The body weight on top of him.
So Ray Lucas is warming up on the sidelines. Lucas did get into the game 2 weeks ago when Testaverde was pulled in the second half against Tampa Bay, which was the start of a bit of controversy for Testaverde and Al Groh, the way it was handled by the head coach. Both of them telling us this week, hey, no problems, we're way past that.
A lot of people have to realize there are a lot of discussions that go on the sidelines that most people aren't privy to. And there's a lot of yelling between coaches and players. Hey, if you're put out for a play, you're yanked out of the game, no big deal. You go back, you forget about it, you go back in and play. Vinny did that, he went back and he won the game for the Jets.
Well, the question now is Testaverde okay as Ray Lucas steps onto the field. And the medical staff will take a look at Vinny Testaverde on the sideline. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 30. Lucas now under center. On the draw play, Curtis Martin looking for a blocker, but Pittsburgh able to converge defensively. And just about every Steeler defender in on the play after a gain of about 4. So the man of the moment right now is Ray Lucas. That's what being a backup quarterback in the NFL is. One play.
You're one play away, and that's the position. It's going to be difficult for the offense the first couple of plays to get in sync. They had a few plays with Ray Lucas during the week, but they didn't get the majority of the plays. It was Vinny Testaverde, the starting quarterback. They got 90% of the plays. So it's a little different for the offense. It's a little different influx when you call the plays and you're at the line of scrimmage for audibles also.
On 3rd and 6, Lucas will put it in the air. On a pump fake, overthrows Wayne Krebet. And the Jets will be forced to punt. Deshae Townsend involved in the coverage.
And that's another part of it, timing. You have to be in sync with your wide receivers. Ray Lucas hasn't had that opportunity. He has to settle down, get together with his wide receivers on offense, and talk about their offense, their offensive schemes. For the New York Jets, this is a situation where Al Groh has to talk to this offense on the sidelines also and get them on the same page. Lucas
has had success with this Jet team. 6-3 as a starter last year, stepping in for Testaverde after Rick Meyer could not hold on to the job. Tom Tupel will punt it away. Hank Petit has been impressive as a rookie. Takes a bounce at the 34, and that's where the Jets will down it. And Tupel did not get off a very good punt. 32 yards, uncharacteristic. Tupel's been having a terrific season. But the story right now, the status of Vinny Testaverde, hit by Gildon. He's on the sideline.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by GMC. From professional-grade people come professional-grade trucks. Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. And by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Steelers football, 1st and 10 at the 34 after the poor punt from Tupa. Play action for Kordell Stewart, a deep drop, plenty of time to throw as he guns over the middle, and incomplete. Plexico Burris, the rookie out of Michigan State, could not bring it in. Would have been a first down throw right around midfield.
Now, this is a catchable ball by Plexico Burris. He should catch this ball. It hits him in the chest. But the turf is slick right there. If you look at the turf, it comes up. It's a new turf out there. And to plant and turn and push off on it is going to be difficult for all the players.
And Burris limps off after the incompletion. On to 2nd and 10 now from the 34. Jets crowd the line of scrimmage. Off the bootleg, Stewart wants to run it. Had 61 rushing yards last week. And was able to pick up a modest gain on 2nd down of about 3. Shane Burton able to bring him down on the far side. Now your whole season flashes in front of you when your starting quarterback goes down. And considering that image from a year ago with New England when the Jets had such high hopes and they end up finishing at 500, falling short of the postseason, Testaverde done for the season before the season even begins.
And it's difficult for a football team mentally, particularly your offense. But I'll tell you one thing about Vinny Testaverde, a tough competitor. He's been in the NFL 14 years. He knows how to play with injury, and if it's not a serious injury, I'd expect him to.
Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala checks in, the 3rd down back. Stewart able to find Hines Ward underneath the coverage, and a first down for Pittsburgh into Jets territory. After the catch, Hines Ward brings it out for a 14-yard gain.
You look at a Hines Ward, he's really the security blanket for a Kordell Stewart. When you look at one side, you've got Plexico Burris, the rookie, Troy Edwards on the other side, but Hines Ward has been the safety guard. When they need a big play, he gets the play done. He thinks like a quarterback. Was a quarterback in college, played everything in college. He knows the offense very well. He knows coverages, and he knows the routes.
And he's become the leader of this wide receiving corps in just his 3rd year. Trying to get the running game going. Bettis, stutter step move. And the Jets were there defensively. A pickup of 2. Brian Cox will be given credit for the stop.
And this is one thing about the Jets defense. No names up front. They will sacrifice and give up their bodies against the offensive line, their defensive linemen, and let the linebackers make the play. Watch Brian Cox. Jerome Bettis cannot make a move in the hole. He tries to cut it to the outside. When you get a 250-pound running back that hits the hole head on with a full bunch of speed, he's going to get positive yardage. But if you can make him go laterally, he's going to lose yardage, or it's going to be a short gain. That's what the defense was able to do for the New York Jets. Make him go to the side.
On 2nd and 8. Bettis again, this time a hole, but he is tripped up as he crosses the 40-yard line. Good block by Sharpour Danish, the native of Iran. A 5-yard gain, setting up 3rd and short. Well, Jerome Bettis, a lot of people thought that his career was on the downslide, and the numbers would certainly indicate that, but he's come out with a renewed vigor this year, and maybe it's because Bill Cowher has talked about getting back to Steeler football, and that certainly plays into Bettis' hands.
Well, since the beginning of training camp, they wanted to emphasize toughness and get the running game going. And for Jerome Bettis, he's been injured. They lost a lot of offensive linemen. Now they're finally settling down offensively up front.
Tight formation on a 3rd and 3. Fuamatu-Ma'afala trying to break a tackle, but the Jets able to cover him up. Ernie Logan, first man there, and then his Jet teammates closed in.
This is a wonderful job of playing the point of attack right here. They're going to pull and run a little counter play. You pull the left guard, you pull your tight end, you try to lead through the hole. There's nothing there. The Jets close it off and converge on the play. Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala has nowhere to run. Here comes the green around the black and gold.
So we'll see Josh Miller for the 2nd time. Dedrick Ward standing at his own 10. Miller gets it off. He had a punt block last week, first time in his career, and a fair catch brought in cleanly. And around the 14-yard line. 26-yard punt. No score early. Injury to the upper portion of Vinny Testaverde's back and his shoulder. He remains on the sideline after the first play from scrimmage for the Jets. Testaverde goes down. A hit by Jason Gildon. So Ray Lucas steps in. And a 1st and 10 from the 14. Handed off, Curtis Martin. Trying to get to the outside, unable to do so. Levon Kirkman, first man to greet him. Take a look at the Jets' offense. Offensive line that has given up only 3 sacks. Kevin Mawai, the leader of this young offensive line, and Mawai might be taking over for Dermontti Dawson as the top center in the NFL. Backs and receivers, Curtis Martin and Richie Anderson have been going back and forth as the leading receiver, both of them running backs, but at 19 and 18 receptions, Anderson currently 1 catch ahead of Martin for the team lead. On 2nd and 6, Lucas short drop off the pump fake, sets it up to the safety valve. Curtis Martin. And Martin is brought down quickly by Gildon. A loss of 2. The Pittsburgh defense. Now, similar to the Jets, no big names on that front 3 in the 3-4 set, but Aaron Smith did pick up his first 2 sacks of his NFL career last week. Linebacking 4, that's where they do most of the damage. And in the secondary, Washington, Alexander, Lee Flowers, who had an interception last week, and Chad Scott. We'll call it a 3rd and 8. And a 3-receiver look for New York. Line of scrimmage just shy of the 17-yard line. Play action. Lucas. Almost intercepted. He was looking for Ward, and Kirkland got his hands on it.
That's a big man as a linebacker, Levon Kirkland, dropping back in the zone, 270 pounds at linebacker, but for him it's all about angles, getting to the right spot as big as he is, and he does a wonderful job of dropping back into his zone, leaping in the air, and knocking the ball away.
You know, Jets trying to get off to a good start here because these 4th quarter comebacks, those will go away in a hurry.
Well, you use them up in a hurry, and they've already had 3 of them, and you can't depend on your team to come back in the 4th quarter week in and week out. It's just too difficult in the NFL.
Tom Tupa did not have a good punt on his first attempt. This one a little bit better, but returnable for Poteet. Brings it in cleanly at the 41. Dances to midfield. And Poteet is into Jets territory. Brought down to the 48 by Scott Frost. Once again, Pittsburgh with pretty good field position after the 42-yard punt. 11-yard return. We're scoreless. First quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dell, providing the infrastructure to power your e-business. Dell knows how E works. And by Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
On a 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh at the Jets 48. The crowd getting involved early with 6:39 to play in the first. Kordell Stewart starting for the injured Kent Graham. Floats one to the outside and quickly tackled Troy Edwards. Roman Pfeiffer was all over that play after a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6.
All right, for Kordell Stewart, he's having fun again, and that's what I like. You're in a National Football League, you should enjoy it. He's out there having fun. We spoke with him last night. He said, it's my opportunity, just enjoy it, have fun. Everybody around me should have fun, and that's a great attitude to have about this game.
By far the most relaxed that we've seen Kordell in the 3 years that we've worked together.
Easy.
Not even close. On 2nd and 6, straight up the middle for Jerome Bettis. Stumbles his way to the 39-yard line for a gain of about 4.5, 5. Sean Ellis in on the stop for New York. Pittsburgh, though, moving the football, and they'll face a 3rd and 1.
And this is what Jerome Bettis gives you, the niftiness of his feet, the quickness for a big man, but he gets great blocking by the center right there. Dermontti Dawson one-on-one gets some help from Alan Faneca. They knock the nose down, they come off on the backside backer, and big Jerome Bettis just scoots through the hole. That's excellent blocking at the point of attack, the pinnacle where the offense starts. Dermontti Dawson, the center, getting a great push by Faneca, and Jerome Bettis following his blocking.
On 3rd and 1, the creativity of Kordell Stewart comes into play in situations like this as well. But they'll go with the bus. And he's going nowhere. Marcus Coleman leading the green charge. And a loss of 1 on the play.
Now, you've got to question this call. You've got a 250-pound running back. You take him north and south. You take him right here. You don't take him that way because he's not going to get a lot of yardage. You pull your line around. Whitman, the fullback, tries to get a block. Too much garbage. Brian Cox cleans up. But it's a great job of forcing the issue by Marcus Coleman, not letting anything outside of him, forcing it back into the field of play.
So not much offense to speak of so far for either team. And we'll see Josh Miller once again. Lefty punter gets this one off, and Dedrick Ward, fair catch. At the 17. Well, we'll see if the Jets can get something going on the offensive end when we come back. Pittsburgh and New York, scoreless. One of America's most enduring corporate images, the Goodyear blimp floating overhead, providing our aerial views for today's game. The Spirit of Goodyear is one of 7 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. Gave us some great shots today here in East Rutherford. On the quick toss to the outside, Dedrick Ward creating after the catch, working the sideline, and Jason Gildon is there to make sure he didn't quite get the first down. Gain of 7.5. We'll see where they spot the football. Call it a 2nd and 3.
And this is an easy play for the offense. And for Ray Lucas to complete to Dedrick Ward, put him in motion, put him out to the outside. As long as there's separation and not pressing on the line of scrimmage, easy pitch and catch. Get to the outside, circle the route, get upfield, and pick up positive yardage.
And the word we just received, Vinny Testaverde, a pinched nerve. His return is questionable. So right now, it's Ray Lucas's game. On the pitch, Curtis Martin unable to get the first down yardage necessary. He picks up 1. He needed 3. Aaron Smith involved in the stop for Pittsburgh. Well, Curtis Martin, he is a Pittsburgh native. Obviously, growing up there, you have to follow the Steelers, but he told us he was really more of a Tony Dorsett fan.
He followed the Cowboys, but he was a Dorsett fan and actually a running back fan. And he told us another story about the first time he went to a Steeler game. He sat there with a friend and watched him play football out there. He said, I can do that.
Yeah, his friend said, you're crazy. This is a different level. He said, no, I can do that.
He was right.
On a 3rd and 2. Inside handoff. And enough for the first down, Richie Anderson. So some tempers flaring after the play, but Anderson able to move the chains. And a new set of downs for New York to work with. Their first down of the day.
And a nice push from the offensive line. Kevin Mawai, but right there, the double team. Right guard and right tackle, Randy Thomas, Ryan Young. Both of them in their 2nd year. Good cooperation. Now you've got to have the back go one-on-one with Levon Kirkland and pick up the first down. Richie Anderson does. But it's the point of attack blocking, the cooperation. Double team, slide off on the backer. Don't let your back take a clean hit. If he's got one guy to run over, make sure it's in his vision.
Tight formation, draw play to Martin. And he's tripped up as he tried to hit the hole hard. Picks up a yard, maybe yard and a half. Kimo von Oelhoffen got him down low.
Now, he's one of those guys that you don't hear a lot about. He's a free agent that came in this year from the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's a nose tackle for the Steelers, and you never hear about nose tackles unless they're great ones. We're talking to Bill Cowher, talking to other people from the Jets. He's the type of guy, he's playing as well as any nose tackle in the NFL right now. Very quick, great leverage, makes the plays going up and down the keyboard, down the line of scrimmage, and he stands the center up so the linebackers can see beyond the line of scrimmage and get to the running back.
On 2nd and 9, they'll try that same play. This time there's a hole. Martin twirls his way to the 39-yard line and a first down for New York. Key block by Kerry Jenkins, helping to spring Martin loose.
Great block by Jenkins, but one-on-one. Watch the center right here. He's going to get a tremendous block in the middle. That's Kevin Mawai. Here's a guy very strong, great leverage. He's going to finish off on the block and just throw bodies around. That's what you like to see. You like to see the opposition's body on the ground. The running back can hit the hole and lead through and pick up positive yardage. But the offensive line for the Jets right now, they're doing an outstanding job against the Steelers of hitting the hole and creating a lane for the back.
On a double tight end set, 1st and 10 from the 40. Floating to the outside and intercepted. Picked off by Washington down the sideline, and Washington is brought down inside the 20. Ray Lucas intercepted. It goes back for 31 yards.
This is just miscommunication between quarterback Ray Lucas and his wide receiver on the outside. He looks, he plants, he throws, but he throws it to a different area. He throws it way over Wayne Corbett's head. He's not even close to the area. But the cornerbacks for the Steelers the last 3 weeks, Dwayne Washington, Chad Scott, have been doing a magnificent job on the outside in their one-on-one coverage and in their zone protection. But here's a nice interception by Dwayne Washington and return on the ball. But quarterback Ray Lucas has to go to the sidelines and talk to Wayne Corbett and get on the same page. I talked about it before. Change at quarterback, he hasn't worked with the first bunch of left.
Second pick of the season for Washington. Now Pittsburgh seemingly in business if they can get their offense jump-started. Victor Green gets Bettis down low. And an injury on the play. struggling to get to his feet. Sharp or Donish, they are already thin in that area, if you could use the word thin to describe the offensive line.
Well, the starter's Marvell Smith, the rookie out of Arizona. He's been injured. He's going to be out for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Sharp or Donish is the backup. They're going to be all the way down to their third tackle and Larry Tharp at that position.
And Pordanish had been playing well, impressing the coaching staff. Last week, that victory over Jacksonville.
And there's Pordanish right there. Trying to finish the block off, just gets his leg rolled on. His left leg got rolled on at the end of the pile.
What was that quote? He's from Iran, as you know.
Well, last week he told us, he said the Jacksonville Jaguars knew we were running the ball. Their fans knew we were running the ball. Even my cousin Abdullah in Iran knew we were going to run the ball. And they did run the ball for over 200 yards in Jacksonville.
And we checked. He does have a cousin named Abdullah in Iran. Underneath the coverage, and John Whitman makes the catch. The fullback is spun down at the 13-yard line. Gain of 6. Mo Lewis with the tackle. Now they'll change personnel. 30 seconds and counting left in this first quarter.
I think it's down to a numbers game. One for the Pittsburgh Steelers on offense. You're not going to have the ability to run the ball as consistently if you had to the right side with your third offensive tackle in there. And it's an advantage for the Jets to blitz on that side because the offensive line had not worked together with a third tackle in there.
On a 3rd and 5, Pittsburgh, the only team in the NFL without a passing touchdown. Stewart on the blitz, gets rid of it. Flag comes down. James Farrier came firing in with Sean Ellis. And that late flag.
And that's just what I talked about. The right side of the line. You put in a new offensive lineman. You attack that side with a blitz, and that's what the Jets did.
Number 10, loss him down. The ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul because it's more than 10 yards. 4th down.
First, the quarterback has to be out of the pocket. Right here, watch the right side. They run a blitz. The right guard looks to the outside. No one picks up the linebacker blitzing in Farrier. Confusion on the right side. That happens a lot if you haven't played next to the player that's next to you, so you get the same call down. Back goes to the outside, picks up the blitz on Pfeiffer. No one picks up James Farrier.
And that penalty, a costly one. 31-yard field goal turns into a 43-yard attempt for Chris Brown. Ken Karam is the holder. Mike Schneck, the snapper. From 43 yards away, Brown gets it off and bangs it through. Pittsburgh on the board first. Steelers with a 3-0 lead. That's the final play of the first quarter. 3-0. Steelers will come back to the Meadowlands after this message. Steelers scoring points off of a turnover, and they lead the Jets 3-0 as we start play in the second quarter. Chris Brown to kick it off. Kevin Williams is the deep man along with White Stone. Kick headed towards the sideline, and that's a mistake. You come to the stadium, your job is to keep that ball in bounds.
Ball be placed at the 40, 1st and 10.
So good field position for the Jets to start off at their own 40. Coming up Friday on CBS, The Chase is on, and the most talked about new drama of the season. TV Guide calls The Fugitive electrifying entertainment with eye-popping stunts. Tim Daly and Michael T. Williamson star in The Fugitive. Don't miss an all-new episode Friday here on CBS. 1st and 10 for New York at the 40. Packed house here at the Meadowlands. See if the Jets can keep their perfect record intact. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Lucas, good protection, set it up, flag down for Curtis Martin. And Martin able to make his way out to midfield. Holmes and Aaron Smith combining on the stop, but this one is coming back.
It'll be a holding call on right tackle Ryan Young.
Holding, 74 offense, 10 yards, repeat 1st down.
Last year's 7th-round pick, a surprise starter last year when Fabini went down. And a look at Sharp or Donish. Holding on to that knee as they cart him to the locker room. So the Steelers forced to go with their 3rd option now at right tackle Larry Tharp. Because of that injury to Marvell Smith, and Pordanish going down in the late stages of the first quarter. 1st and 20 following the penalty. On the toss for Martin. No running room to work with as Levon Kirkland was there for Pittsburgh after the gain of 4.
And at this point in the game, it seems like the Jets' offense is a little lifeless. They don't have anybody back there that's picking them up in the huddle to fire them off. They just don't have that spark back there right now. It's like they're looking at each other for someone to lead them and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Curtis Martin, somebody in that huddle's got to pick it up for this team.
We talked to the Jets players, and to a man, the players we spoke with offensively, they were not satisfied with what they had been doing offensively up to this point. Yes, they're 4-0, but they feel the offense can be a lot better than it's been. So far, we've seen very little. Little chicanery now for Lavernius Coles. The speedster from Florida State gets banged around at the 40-yard line, so he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, setting up 3rd and 10. Jason Gildon with a smack on the near side.
You talk about speed. Watch number 87, Lavernius Cole, on this play. This play should be contained behind the line of scrimmage by 91, Aaron Smith, right there, but he doesn't have the quickness. Coles even goes 5 yards deeper than that and then comes back to the line of scrimmage and pulls the ball up. That's what you got to like about speed in the NFL. That's the reason why he's signed for the New York Jets. Good wide receivers, solid. First receptions his last game against Tampa Bay, but here the speed really takes its effect. That should have been a 10-yard rush.
On a 3rd and long. Motion man back. Lucas in for the injured Testaverde. Floats one upstairs, and again, too high for Wayne Corbett.
And that all goes back to timing, rhythm, working with the wide receivers on a consistent basis. It's going to take time. Unfortunately, the Jets don't have that luxury at this time.
And a flag throw. It's on the far side of the field, completely away from where the play was taking place.
Illegal contact, 20 of the defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Wow, what a break, Dwayne Washington. Well, the Jets get the automatic first down after not earning it with their offense.
That is a huge play for the New York Jets. All of a sudden, they're getting rid of the ball pointing away, and they've got a first down. And that's got to hurt your defense. But on offense, you need a spark. One thing I don't like about the Jets right now, the guys are walking back to the huddle. Sprint back to the huddle. Be excited about it. You got a first down where you should be off the field to play. No one's doing that right now at this point for the New York Jets.
1st and 10 from the 46. Coles in motion. Lucas. He fakes the end around to Coles. Lucas with plenty of running room in front of him. And Ray Lucas out of bounds. He fooled the Pittsburgh defense. A terrific fake out at the 37.
And this is what Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, does. He sets it up. The first play, he hands the ball off. This time he sets up the defense. They're going to over-pursue. They think it's another reverse. But Ray Lucas keeps the ball. He's looking to throw the ball downfield. There's nothing there. Take what the defense gives you and run the football. The defense of the Steelers, watch the defense. They're going to take off. They think it's a reverse. Watch the ball go. Watch those jerseys go to the right. All of a sudden, Ray Lucas has the ball. There's nothing but green grass in front of him. He picks up the first down for the Jets.
A 17-yard scamper for Ray Lucas and a 1st and 10 at the 37. Flag comes down. Lucas, is it a free play for him? Doesn't matter. Anderson could not bring it in. Could have been Keevan Henry possibly on that defensive line. Lucas pointing in the direction.
Offside, 56 defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Well, there's Mike Vrabel. Number 56, unless he meant 76, Keevan Henry. Either way.
Yeah, it had to be Keevan Henry. Mike Vrabel's not even on the field to play.
I'm thinking to myself.
Right there. There's Keevan Henry. He's going to jump off sides before the ball snapped, and that's where the penalty is.
Yep. So a 1st and 5 now at the 32. Pittsburgh mistakes helping the Jets on this drive. Becht again, the motion man. Handed off straight ahead, and Martin is tripped up. A gain of 1 on the play, as Martin could not find the hole. Levon Kirkland again down low. A number of his tackles have come in that manner.
Levon Kirkland is so big and powerful. He takes on the pulling Kerry Jenkins around the pile and just stuffs him in the hole and drives him backwards. That's embarrassing for an offensive line to be driven backwards by a defensive player, particularly when you're on a pull. But, hey, you look at Levon Kirkland. He's big. They've got him at 270. He's about 285. I'll tell you what, he's done a great job the last couple of years. 6 out of the last 8 years for the Steelers, 100-plus tackles. Leads the team in tackles almost every year in, year out, and he never has missed a game in his career.
On 2nd and 4, Lucas was looking long and then went to a secondary receiver, Anthony Becht. Once again, a little bit high and incomplete.
And that's all nerves. For a quarterback to throw the ball high like that, 3 consecutive plays down the field to play, it's all nerves. He's got time to set in the huddle, stand up tall, throw the ball, and it's all high. He's looking at his 2nd and 3rd look, That's his second look. He wants to get rid of the ball. You want to get rid of it fast, but the key is you've got to settle down and put it where your wide receivers can catch the ball.
Lucas opens up this game 2 of 6. 6 yards, 1 interception. Dime package for Pittsburgh on a 3rd and 4. 4 receivers for Lucas to work with. Pump fake. Lucas steps up, guns. Wide open, Corbett. First down, New York at the 16. A 15-yard completion as Testaverde watches from the sideline.
That's exactly what Ray Lucas needed in this offense. Excellent execution starts with the offensive line in the snap. The Steelers run a stunt. The offensive line picks it up. It's a late blitz coming off the edge by Deshae Townsend. The quarterback Ray Lucas reads it, throws the ball perfectly down the seam to his wide receiver in William Corbett. Line of scrimmage is the 16.
Coming up on the 10-minute mark here in the second quarter. Hand it off. Martin tried to sidestep a tackler, but he was pushed backwards by Earl Holmes after a gain of 3. And Martin's had a difficult time getting the running game started here after the Pittsburgh defense did a brilliant job last week against Fred Taylor and the Jaguars.
They definitely did. They just stuffed Jacksonville. 26 yards rushing as a team, 7 sacks, but it's difficult to run in the middle of a 3-4 defense. The Jets are trying to pull their guards, pull their tackles, create a seam in the middle of the field, but that's the strongest point for the Steelers is that V right up the middle, the nose tackle and the 2 middle backers.
On 2nd and 7, Richie Anderson sets up as a receiver. Lucas in the pocket, fires. Too high for Corbett. It's like the same play over and over when it comes to Lucas and Corbett.
It's almost like a nightmare for Ray Lucas, but Ray Lucas, when he turned the plane to throw this football, he saw the white jerseys of the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up and attacking, and I think at the last instant he wanted to throw the ball away. Keep an eye on Wayne Corbett. It's got to be frustrating for him at this time. He makes his play, comes back to the football, he's open, he's waiting for the ball, thrown too high.
And all Vinny can do right now is watch a pinched nerve.
And I've had those. They're not a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, we call them stingers. It's a pain that shoots down your entire arm. Sometimes it goes down the back of your neck. You can't move and you can't function.
On the first offensive play of the game for New York, Lucas steps up. He'll run it. Flag down. And Lucas is brought down at the 5. Steelers are pointing in the direction of the green jerseys. It's a first down if it stands for Lucas.
Holding, offense 71. 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
It won't stand. Left guard, Kerry Jenkins.
This is the area where you have to be perfect and execute to perfection is the red area. The Steelers haven't done it well this year, neither have the Jets, but here's an area where you have to concentrate. Don't take points away from yourself. Play smart in this area. And here's an area where the leadership of a Vinny Testaverde comes to play. He's smart enough to tell his players, hey, we're in the red zone, guys. Concentrate on the play. Let's do what's right and do what you're coached to do.
They have to get to the 6-yard line. Now facing a 3rd and 17. Line of scrimmage just shy of the 23. Jets trailing Pittsburgh 3-0. They'll go conservative, or will they? Dedrick Ward, he's got some room. Ward cuts it back, but will come up shy of the first down. Brought down at the 11-yard line. A 12-yard run. Dan Henning. He's taken everything out of that bag of tricks so far.
He definitely is. I've had Dan Henning as an offensive coordinator for about 9 years of my career, also as a head coach when I played for the San Diego Chargers. He's not afraid to pull the trigger on trick plays. If it's a reverse, if it's a halfback pass, it doesn't matter. He will pull them off the shelf and use them. He thinks the Pittsburgh Steelers defense over-pursues to the ball. And if a team over-pursues on defense, that's when you want to run your reverses.
John Hall, whose job was apparently in jeopardy a couple of weeks ago. But he's back on steady ground now, trying to tie this game, and blocked. Taken out of the midair, the 29-yard field goal attempt. Lee Flowers trying to run with it, and he is brought down at the 5. So just as I mentioned Hall and the inconsistencies, there's a blocked field goal attempt. Jets unable to come up with the equalizer. Pittsburgh still in front by 3. Jason Gildon, who knocked Testaverde out of the game earlier, now with a block on a field goal attempt from John Hall.
He's had an excellent year. He gets great penetration, comes in, puts his arms up. But at the end of this block, Lee Flowers fields it, and he hesitates for about 3 seconds. What do I do? Well, watch him right there. The first thing you do is you run with it. Get positive yardage. There you go. Now run with the football.
So Pittsburgh takes over, 1st and 10 at their own 6. Jerome Bettis squeezing through a hole for a gain of 3. Shane Burton with the tackle. You know, one thing about the Jets in our meetings with them on Friday, there's no doubt Pittsburgh caught their attention last week with a win over Jacksonville. The Jets were not talking about the Steelers as a 1-3 team.
Well, you really can. And if you look at the last 10 quarters the Steelers have played coming into this game, the last half against Cleveland, they came from behind. They should have won the game. They lost it by 3. They take Tennessee, which is a team many predicted to go to the deep in the playoffs. They take them down to the wire. Then they go to Jacksonville, another team predicted to go to the playoffs, and they just crunch Jacksonville in the run back line.
On 2nd and 7, Stewart finds the open man. It's Burris. And a first down for Pittsburgh. 11 yards through the air. Both backup quarterbacks on the field for these two teams. Lucas for the Jets, and Kordell Stewart getting the start for the injured Kent Graham here today.
One thing about Kordell Stewart, he's not afraid to go to the well until it's milk dry. He will go back to Plexico Burris, 6'5.5". He's the type of receiver that you want out there, that you want to get him the ball, because he towers over 90% of the defensive backs in the NFL.
On first down from the 22, Bettis trying to run off the tackle and unable to create much more than a 3.5-yard gain. Marvin Jones with a stop.
Marvin Jones got the stop on that line. Did you see Kevin Williams force it out of the secondary? Picture perfect. He was like a laser bullet coming out of the secondary against Jerome Bettis, a guy that's much bigger and stronger than he is. But that's the way that you force the issue. If you come out of the secondary and you're going to stop the run, you're going to try to make the opponent pay for it.
We'll call it a 2nd and 6. Spread the field now with 5 receivers for Stewart to work with. Trying to get on the same page with Dawson on the count. Out of the shotgun. Blitz coming. Unloads. Complete to Hines Ward. Struggling to get extra yardage, but Marcus Coleman there to help wrap him up after a gain of 3. Right now, let's get an NFL Today report and Jim Nance.
All right, Ian, Cincinnati winless on the season, finally breaking through at the start of the second quarter. It's Corey Dillon into the secondary, and he will fight off the defenders and go 80 yards to put the Bengals in front. Let's go to Ian and Mark.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. One team looking for their first victory. A team here hoping to avoid their first loss. The Jets 4-0. Steelers 1-3. And it's Pittsburgh in front 3-0 on a 3rd and 3 from the 29. The crowd is very much alive. Stewart guns it. Intermediate pass is complete. Burris, the sliding grab at the 39-yard line. Good for 10 yards.
Outstanding job by Kordell Stewart of reading the blitz, but on the outside, Plexico Burris breaking the ball off, planting. It's a slant across the field. Catch it. It's thrown high, right at his numbers, but he brings it in. It's a great job of concentrating by Burris. Here's a guy this tall. I keep talking about his height. You don't see that many guys that tall, 6'5.5", that can go across the middle, go down low, and come up with reception.
Actually blocked 22 punts in his high school career. That's hard to imagine. That's got to be some kind of record. There's a pass and a catch to Burris, flagged down as Burris tried to turn it inside.
And I talked about it. Kordell Stewart's the type of quarterback, and in his past, if he's hot with a receiver, he's going to continue to go to that receiver. And Plexico Burris told us before, I want to be the go-to guy. That's why they drafted me. Throw me the football.
Against New York, Cherry Austin will sort out exactly who the infraction works against. It was an 8-yard gain.
Holding, 42 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Well, Plexico Burris, named after his uncle, who served in Vietnam, but I tell you what, this could be maybe the bonehead play of the year.
I guess he thought he was still back in college and he was down and he could do that, but you can't get away with that in the NFL. And Hines Ward told us that he had a few choice words for him after that, but luckily it wasn't a major play in the game that cost him the game.
Yeah, Burris went to the sideline and said to Ward, hey, I messed up. And Ward said, yeah, you did. No words of encouragement. Bettis spun down at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Marvin Jones, excellent pursuit. And this game is moving along. Jets offense is yet to wake up. The injury to Vinny Testaverde, Ray Lucas trying to step in and make something happen. It hasn't happened yet. Pittsburgh with a lead.
Well, to slow down a big back, string him along. Watch 55. He runs with him step for step. Marvin Lewis, one of the quickest middle linebackers still in his 8th year in the NFL. And he goes step for step with Jerome Bettis across the field of play and makes the play. The guys up front, they keep the offensive line away from it. Allows the linebackers to flow to make the plays and the tackles on the running back.
Yeah, Jones is back to what he once was. Probably better, in fact. Stewart on 2nd and 9. Angles one to the sideline. Caught by Edwards. First down, Pittsburgh into New York territory. Aaron Glenn with the coverage.
The young receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting it done. Plexico Burress, Troy Edmonds in his 2nd season was their 1st-round pick last year, but they need consistency out of these receivers. Kordell Stewart does a great job of looking off his 1st receiver and throwing it to his 2nd receiver in Troy Edwards.
It'll be a 1st and 10 at the 43. Edwards has not been thrilled with his role. Demoted the number 3 receiver, Hines Ward, stepping in as the number 2, but he'll still rotate in on certain series as the 2nd wideout. Play action. Stewart playing with confidence. Look at the time. Kordell Stewart will look to run it. Stewart, shake and bake move at the 25. And that is the dynamic that Stewart brings to the football field that Kent Graham does not. A 20-yard burst.
And that's what I like about Kordell Stewart. If it's not there, he's so relaxed now as a quarterback, he takes what the defense gives him, and he's the 3rd dimension. At the end of this play, you're going to see Jerome Bettis. He points to him. Watch this. Points to him. Gets a block. Give me a block. Give me a block. He gets a block, pulls it down, and runs with the football. Puts it in the right hand. Gets up extra yardage, gets a block down the field of play by Mark Bruner. They're tied in. But that's what Kordell Stewart gives you. He's so tough to defend. If you drop back, you hand the ball to Bettis. If you come up in blitz, Stewart can beat you on the blitz because if he splits the 1st line of defense, he's gone for positive good.
Fuamatu Ma'afala in the backfield on a 1st and 10, and he gets the call. Up the middle trying to push the pile, and Ma'afala gets out to the 21-yard line. Any Jet fan watching right now has to be thinking Nu'ufa'aola, the former New York Jet, when I say Fuamatu Ma'afala.
And for Fuamatu Ma'afala, he has more letters in his name than carries coming into the game. That just goes to show you, but he's a big physical back, and that's why the Steelers drafted him. There are a few teams in the NFL that are inquiring about a trade. The Steelers are deep at the running back position. When you've got 2 Brahma Bulls in the backfield like that, both of them are running the ball effectively.
Him and Kimo Von Olhoffen, both from Hawaii. They've nicknamed them the Hawaiian Punch on this Steeler team. 2nd and 8. Gunning, it's tipped. Hines Ward, intended receiver. And Stewart, who has done an excellent job on this drive, will now face a 3rd and 8.
I think both Hines Ward and Kordell Stewart know that this was a play that he kind of forced it in there. And on that play, you just saw Kordell Stewart stomping the turf. This is new turf here. They replaced the turf in the middle of this field, and it's loose. I was down there earlier today, and I was back there. And here it is. The ball's thrown behind him. He forced it in there, but the green jerseys of the Jets are around him.
Marvin Jones getting his fingertips on it, and now a crucial 3rd and 8. A long drive for Pittsburgh, using up a lot of the clock here in the 2nd quarter. Shotgun Stewart. Quick little throw for Fuamatu Ma'afala. Got some blockers, and Ma'afala has a 1st down. Inside the 15, Dermontti Dawson, one of the key blocks to help create some extra room.
And this is what the Steelers can do. They're one of the best screen blocking teams in the NFL. They know how to set it up. Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala last week had a big 14-yard run on a screen against Jacksonville, took it right down to the 1-yard line, but he knows how to follow his blockers. 3rd down, you get a big back in there. It's Ma'afala. He does a fantastic job of he follows his center, Dermontti Dawson. He knows exactly where he is to take the football.
2-minute warning. 3-0 Pittsburgh with a lead on the move again.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda, a winning lineup of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. When you gotta have one, you gotta have one. And by Nextel, how business gets done.
The only undefeated team in the AFC, currently trailing Pittsburgh 3-0. And the Steelers with a chance to add to their lead. A 1st and 10 at the New York 12. Vinny Testaverde, first play from scrimmage for the Jets offensively, knocked out of the game. A pinched nerve. Ray Lucas has done very little operating this New York offense. On a double tight end set. Stewart in the pocket. Stewart throws it to the outside, almost picked off by Coleman. Marcus Coleman had nothing but green grass in front of him.
And talk about telegraphing the pass. Kordell Stewart is only looking to his right to throw this ball, and Marcus Coleman sees that. He has a beat on it, and he flies to the football. Bad throw by quarterback Kordell Stewart. Should throw that ball away, but great defensive play by the Jets defense and Marco Coleman.
Plexico Burris, intended receiver, now a 2nd and 10 from the 12. 13th play of the drive. Handoff for Bettis. Jerome Bettis remaining on his feet, rumbling towards the end zone. Do they give it to him? They do not. Marcus Coleman with a tackle, and Bettis came within inches of punching one in.
This is a magnificent job of following your blockers. Keep an eye on Jerome Bettis. He's going to string the defensive line and let his offensive line pick up the blockers. A hat on a hat. Cuts it back. It's a great job by Faneca in front of him. Then he just runs over the tackle of Victor Green and powers his way. There's 3. I thought he got that ball in.
And they will take a look at it. Inside 2 minutes, there are no coaches' challenges. So the review has to come from upstairs. What they'll do, take another look. Now, remember a few weeks ago what happened with Pittsburgh and Hines Ward not getting the touchdown off of the review.
Well, keep an eye on his knees right here. That's the key. Is the knee down before the ball breaks the plane? That is very close. It looks like a touchdown to me, but you can't see his other knee. His right knee looks like it's up, and he's stretching out for the goal line. Keep an eye on his left knee. Right here, he's trying to power himself way into the goal line. He's struggling. That's a touchdown. That's very close.
You know, if they go off the inconclusive theory, which they used a couple of weeks ago against Tennessee.
They'll run it in again. They'll say it's not a touchdown.
They're trying to stretch that arm to break the plane.
Now, if he had the height of a Plexico Burris, no question, he's in.
Would have touched the goalpost. Al Groh's team, they were nervous about this game. And I don't think it was just the players trying to say the right thing. I think they actually believed that Pittsburgh was a quality team, and their record didn't indicate how tough they were.
And they're a very physical team, and that's the key on both sides of the ball. They pound it on offense, and they hit you on defense, and they attack with their linebackers on the defensive side of the ball. When you see that on film, if you're a player, doesn't matter. When you're a player, and I can tell you from experience, I never looked at a team's record. I looked at my opponent. I didn't care if they were 1-12 when we played them. I wanted to find out the player I was playing against. There are a lot of times we played the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a terrible record. I had Reggie White across from me. I didn't care what the record was. My job is to stop the guy that's across from me.
The Jets currently one of just 2 teams in the NFL not to give up a rushing touchdown this season. Miami is the other. Will this go down as the first? It's supposed to only take 2 minutes.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. You got one of those sundial watches, I think. I've got to invest in one of those. Those are pretty good.
Let's see. Is Pittsburgh going to be an extra point away from leading this game 10-0? Here's Jerry Austin.
After review of the play, the runner's knee never touches the ground. It's a touchdown. Please put 140 on the clock. 140.
Now, you talk about an outstanding job by Jerome Bettis of knowing where the goal line is, stretching it out. We're going to take another look at it. Like I said, watch his knees. Those knees aren't down, but he has the presence of mind to stretch out and drive those legs, put his left hand down and reach his right hand down and reach over with his right hand and put the ball over the goal line plane. Smart play by Jerome Bettis, just balancing with that left hand and stretching out and putting that ball over the plane.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Steelers did not get the benefit of the replay. They do today. And the 1-3 Pittsburgh Steelers now lead the 4-0 Jets 10-0 with 1:40 left. First half. A 13-play, 94-yard drive taking up just over 7 minutes. And the Pittsburgh Steelers now in front of the Jets 10-0 with 1:40 left, second quarter. Well, coming up, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Join Jim, Mike, Randy, all the scores and highlights, plus an update on the Oakland-San Francisco game. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Chris Brown leans into it. This will be Kevin Williams, who does have a kickoff return for a touchdown to his credit this season. But this play is forced to the sideline at the 34-yard line. A 26-yard return. Touchdown for the Bus. 10-0 Pittsburgh.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Best Western. Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. And by Gateway. In Gateway country, people rule.
Jets coming off the bye week, an extra week to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but New York's offense has looked flat. Ray Lucas in for Vinny Testaverde, who was out with a pinched nerve. He's got a minute and a half to try to do something before halftime. That one was on a bounce to Wayne Corbett. Incomplete.
That just shows the frustration of Wayne Corbett at this point. He's had him thrown over his head. Now they're down in the turf. And here's the key to quarterback. If you can execute in 2 minutes, that shows your worthiness as a quarterback besides winning games, because now the pressure's on. The defense knows you're going to throw the ball. You're behind. How can you execute your offense as a quarterback in a 2-minute situation?
See the timeout situation? Last time the Jets had no points when they hit halftime, week 2 of last year. Lucas, quarterback keeper, and able to cross the 40-yard line as Earl Holmes gave him a little nudge. 8 yards running the football out to the 41. Clock continues to roll on a 3rd and 2. Here's Lucas stepping up, throwing underneath, and that's good enough for a first down. Wayne Corbett. Who else would you expect on 3rd down? That's what Corbett has been doing throughout his 6-year NFL career. Timeout with a minute 5 left. Jets trying to put something together offensively before halftime. Don't forget, coming up, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Join Jim, Mike, and Randy for all the scores and highlights, plus an update on the Oakland-San Francisco game. It's coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Jets with a 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line, trailing Pittsburgh 10-0. Tight formation, in motion, Beck. Just over a minute to play in the 2nd quarter. Handed off for Curtis Martin. Able to get across midfield and brought down by Kevin Henry for a gain of 6. And the clock continues to move down to 50 seconds remaining first half. Lucas operating out of the shotgun on a 2nd and 4. Throws towards the sideline. Corbett brings it in, and a first down for New York. Right at the 42, and the Jets use a timeout. So a timeout for New York. They are into Pittsburgh territory. Coming up Tuesday on CBS, a plan to kill the president of Russia is uncovered. Thank goodness for that. Now the fate of the free world is at stake, and every second counts. Don't miss an all-new Jag Tuesday on CBS. $10-0 game. Pittsburgh with the lead. 40 seconds now remaining in the first half, and the Jets are down to their final timeout as they try to inch closer to some points here before they hit the locker room.
Man, this New York Jet team looks flat, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. And right now, to give this team a lift, they need to put points on the board before halftime to come out in the second half with a better attitude. And I think right now, El Groh on the sideline, he realizes that. He realizes that they need some points before halftime.
Maybe this is who they are. Maybe they're just a come-from-behind team. And we'll find out later come 4th quarter. On the give, Martin cutting it back. Curtis Martin getting extra yardage across the 30. 13 yards working the middle of the field, and they'll move the chains.
That's a great call by offensive coordinator Dan Henning. Spread the offense out and hand the ball off to Curtis Moore.
Lucas down to 18 seconds left and throws it to the turf. Too low for Wayne Corbett, and that stops the clock with 17 ticks left.
For Ray Lucas, trying to get the ball to Wayne Corbett hasn't been easy today. They've been high, they've been low, they've been to the outside, but it's smart on Ray Lucas right now. He's going to throw the ball away if he's not absolutely wide open. If he sees a defender close, when he steps, plants to throw, he throws it away.
John Hall had a 29-yard field goal blocked earlier when the Jets did have an opportunity to put points on the board. Right now, it would be about a 48-yard attempt. Shotgun for Lucas. 17 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Steps up in the pocket, throws underneath the coverage to Becht. And Anthony Becht is brought down at the 23-yard line. Clock continues to roll. Down to 5 seconds. And finally, the timeout is called with 4 seconds remaining. We'll step aside, come back with a field goal attempt from Hall after this. John Hall trying to redeem himself for the block kick earlier. A 40-yard attempt with 4 seconds remaining first half. 2 for the holding. Bradford Banta will snap it. Hall gets this one away and kicks it through. So the Jets do not walk away empty-handed here in the first half offensively. They do post a field goal, but the storyline, Vinny Testaverde in his absence because of the pinched nerve. Lucas forced to take over. And Pittsburgh trying to hand New York its first loss of the season. 10-3 at halftime. The NASDAQ.com halftime report when we come back.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com halftime report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
And welcome back, friends, to our Fifth Avenue studios, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. I'm Jim Nantz, along with Mike Ditka and Randy Cross. And a reminder, this is a doubleheader day here on CBS. Coming up in our second set of games, most of you will see the Raiders at San Francisco. And for more on that matchup, let's turn it over to Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms.
All right, Jim, thank you. We have a pretty good-looking day here in San Francisco as we prepare for the Battle of the Bays, the Oakland Raiders taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. Today will mark the first ever meeting between good friends Steve Mariucci and John Gruden as head coaches. They were both assistants in Green Bay under Mike Holmgren, and talking with John Gruden yesterday, he referred to Steve Mariucci as the king of the sandbaggers. And he just might be right about that.
Sandbaggers, it sounds like a couple guys in the studio what they are in their golf games, but I think John Gruden is right. The cupboard is not quite as bare for the 49ers as we all believe. Look what they did the first 3 games. They struggled trying to get the transition, get new players involved. Then the fog clears, and look what they do. 2 wins, only 1 turnover. Defense playing better, but you look at the San Francisco offense, you got the 3 wide receivers, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and J.J. Stokes. I think they're pretty good. Jeff Garcia, the second leading passer in the NFC, and Charlie Garner, well, he's doing a good job of running the football. The weakness with the 49ers, of course, a young defense, a lot of rookies. That's where the weakness may be, but it's not quite the rebuilding process that we've all thought it is.
Yeah, you wonder if the Oakland Raiders are licking their chops. There are 4 rookies who will start for San Francisco on defense today, and by day's end, 8 will play a major role, according to Coach Steve Mariucci. 49ers and the Raiders a little bit later. Let's go back to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, Greg and Phil, tell Simms we accept the challenge. Most of you will see that game coming up later today. Let's get everybody caught up on all the scores, including the Steelers and the Jets. And your thoughts on the first half of that game, Mike?
Well, I tell you, they're hurting right now because they got their leader on offense out of the football game, and that's Testaverde. I mean, he got hurt on the first play of the game, and they kind of had to go away from what they want to do.
All right, and elsewhere, the Bills and the Dolphins, they're at the half. That Miami defense, only 2 touchdowns given up in 22 quarters this year. And they've gotten today to Rob Johnson. They've sacked him 3 times in the first half.
This might be the best defense in the league right now. I mean, Taylor's a heck of a football player. He's one of the leading sack guys in the league. But here, they're starting. Fiedler's getting a little better every week. He's taking what the defense gives him. Here's a little screen pass to Thomas, sets up a field goal, and then he goes deep down the field. And this is a darn good throw. This is right on the money. Bang. Leslie Shepard for a touchdown.
And it's 13-3 Dolphins at the intermission. Meanwhile, check this out. The Colts and the Patriots just a moment ago went to the locker room off a huge play by Michael Bishop, the backup to Drew Bledsoe.
On the first possession, though, Bledsoe hits Callaway again, but Tyrone Poole is called for pass interference. That picks up 16 to the Patriots' 7-yard line. And Adam Vinatieri got a field goal, but then Peyton Manning comes back, gets Marvin Harrison. Who else does he try to get? Gets Marvin Harrison for that touchdown. Remember, 10-3, Michael Bishop in the game. What do? The ball goes in the air. You have a defender in front, a defender in back. You knock it down. Had the back covered, didn't have the front covered. Easy touchdown for Tony Simmons.
Tony Simmons had set that up off the squib kick. He returned 39 yards. They gave him one play, and Bishop connected on his first NFL pass. It goes for a touchdown. Titans and Bengals, they've now just reached the half in Cincinnati. Cincinnati with 3 first downs in the game, but Dick LeBeau's team leads.
And he's going for his first win as a Bengal. Bengal running back Corey Dillon, 8 carries for over 90 yards so far in this game, but right here, 80 yards for a touchdown. This is a game that's been dominated physically by Tennessee with a couple of big plays by the Cincinnati Bengals. But if you're playing Tennessee, no healthy wide receivers, they're going to throw to Wycheck. That's what Darrell Williams knows. That's good game planning, cutting in front of that pass from McNair and returns it for that touchdown to get Cincinnati a 14-10 lead.
And Eddie George fumbled into the end zone one time when Tennessee was going in. They're down. Bengals looking for that first win, as you said. Redskins and Eagles. Redskins are running the football, but tied 7-7. Over 100 yards rushing, Redskins in the first half. Packers and Lions. Batch has thrown 2 touchdowns, and they're beating up on the Packers by 14. Saints and Bears in the Ditka Bowl. Mike, you've been watching this one. Saints lead it behind Jeff Blake's 2 touchdown tosses to Joe Horn.
Not only that, they rushed the ball. They rushed the ball effectively. The leading rusher actually is Blake, and then the second leading rusher is Williams. But they just controlled the whole football game. They've had the ball for almost 25 minutes.
All right, the Steelers going for back-to-back wins. They gave Jerome Bettis the touchdown after the call had been challenged, and we'll continue here. Second half coming up on CBS in a moment.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com halftime report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Halftime at the Meadowlands. Pittsburgh leading the Jets 10-3. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station. A great sports weekend in the New York area. Pittsburgh leading the Jets 10-3 at halftime as we welcome you back to the Meadowlands. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. Headline of the first half. Yes, the Jets defense doing a great job just to keep them in this game, but Vinny Testaverde knocked out very early and the Jets offense unable to respond to it.
And it's right off the bat, the first play of the game, the defense runs a stunt, a simple TE stunt. Jason Gildon comes scot-free. Randy Thomas tries to pick him up, but he can't do the job. First play of the game, the first pass, Vinny Testaverde out. Your starting quarterback out. Hey, that's tough for the offense to regroup from.
And the plan goes out the window offensively. Jets were feeling good about themselves, a 4-0 start, first time in franchise history, but they were guarding against the letdown against a team that's 1-3. And Jet players and the Jet coaching staff all throughout the week talking about, hey, this is a much better football team than 1-3 may indicate.
They definitely were. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly their last 10 quarters, when you go back to the Cleveland game, the second half, they play Tennessee right down to the wire. Then they go down to Jacksonville and they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, on paper, 1-3? No. In the back of their minds, this team could easily be 3-1.
Bill Cowher keeping it a mystery, the starting quarterback position, until today. There were some rumblings yesterday regarding Kent Graham not starting and Kordell Stewart getting the opportunity, and Stewart's done a nice job. He's much more poised than we've seen the last few years that the Steelers have been trying to make a winner out of him.
Well, he definitely is. He's added that other dimension, and that dimension is running with the football. It's difficult for a defense to defend him. With Kent Graham, you know he's going to be in the pocket. He's there. You can go after him and blitz him. With Kordell Stewart, he can break out of that pocket and pick up big yardage for their offense. He's already done that in the first half.
And one thing, if you're Pittsburgh, coming up on the schedule, you take a look. You've got Cincinnati. You've got Cleveland. You realize that you've dug yourselves a huge hole this season, but you can get yourself out of that hole with a victory here against the Jets and then 2 winnable games coming up in your division.
And we talked to Jason Gildon yesterday, and what he told us was, hey, we know how big this game is for us. This is a pivotal game for us because we're not supposed to look ahead on the schedule, but players always do that. When I was a player, I always looked ahead to find out who we were going to play.
First round kicks it off. Kevin Williams from the 9. Jets need a spark of some sort. Maybe it comes on special teams. Williams is brought down short of the 30-yard line at the 29 by Deshae Townsend. 21-yard return. Well, the halftime numbers, 10-3 game, Pittsburgh with the lead, and the numbers comparable if you look up and down the line. But all that matters is that 7-point differential. And the fact that the Jets have gotten into no rhythm offensively. There's been no flow.
Well, the Jets are used to doing this for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then Vinny Testaverde in the offense, they come out in the 4th quarter, and he usually rescues this offense. But, you know, here's the key. Vinny Testaverde's not in there. He's injured. Ray Lucas is the quarterback.
Lucas got an opportunity on one series 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay. Then Testaverde was reinserted into the lineup. And Curtis Martin is driven down by Levon Kirkland, a gain of 3, trying to run off tackle. We're just underway, second half. Pittsburgh Steelers in front, 10-3 over the undefeated Jets.
Levon Kirkland is the heart and soul of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Make no mistake about that. They're led by their linebackers. A lot of no names up front on the defensive line, but he's the player that the players on defense look up to. He's got 2 bad sprained ankles, but he continues to play. He's a player that won't come off the field if he's injured.
Pittsburgh defense didn't give up the big play against Jacksonville last week. They are yet to give it up here today against the Jets, as establishing the running game seems to be the focus in the early going of the third quarter. A 3-yard run for Martin, Henry, and Smith combining to make the stop. And Bill Cowher, there's been a misconception, I think, around the league that Cowher's mellow. And the reality is that Cowher's probably been tougher on his players this year than in past years, because he has a lot of younger players on that roster than in past years.
He doesn't have enough seasoned veterans to depend on. He only has a handful of those guys that he can depend on. In the past, the veterans would take care of the rookies. Now he doesn't have enough veterans, and he has to step in, and he has this year. And I think he's done a pretty good job with his young players.
Dime package. Ward came out of the backfield, keying in on him, and Lucas able to deliver it. A first down throw out to the 42-yard line. A gain of 8. And a new set of downs for New York to work with.
Ray Lucas is very lucky on this play. This ball goes right through the hands of Lee Flowers, and Bill Cowher knows that. He says, Lee, catch the ball. It goes right through his hands. Dietrich Gordon comes down with a reception, but those are the plays you'd like to have back again. But those are the plays you scratch your head and say, we make that play in practice 8 out of 9 times. Why can't we make it today in a game?
On a 1st and 10. Becht in motion. Play action. Lucas thought about airing it out. Instead, it's underneath to Curtis Martin. And a modest gain of about 3. Kevin Henry, Levon Kirkland in on the stop. 2nd and 7 coming up. Ball just shy of the 46.
And that's one thing about the Pittsburgh defense that they're conscious of. Tim Lewis, your defensive coordinator, when I spoke to him before the game, he says it's the big play that's killed us. When you go back to Cleveland, you go back to the Tennessee game, we'll play 65 plays. There'll be 3 or 4 plays in the game where we'll let up an average of 45 yards a play. But the other 60 plays or so, that's the same thing, about 150 yards total. So it's the 3 or 4 big plays a game we must prevent.
Off of play action, Lucas lets one fly, but it came off the fingertips awkwardly, and he is fortunate that Lee Flowers didn't come up with his 3rd career interception. Like a screwball.
And that's got to be Lee Flowers. That's frustration on his part. That's 2 balls he should have intercepted, but here's Ray Lucas in the pocket stepping up to throw the ball. It just goes off the back of his fingers. He doesn't have a good grip on the ball. When he tries to put pressure and throw the ball, there's nothing there. It just flutters like a bad duck in the air. It's a quail. Throw it up there. Get it to your wide receiver. But here, it just slips off his fingertips. There's no power behind it. Lee Flowers, it's another one in your hands. Oh. Catch the ball.
3rd and 7. Play clock winding down. Handoff. Mark has the room. Little juke move, gets the first down, and a flag comes flying in. Curtis Martin into Pittsburgh territory. Good block by Fabini.
It's got to be a holding call against Fabini.
Holding, 69 offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
I didn't say it was a legal block. I just said it was a good block.
But here's the key. He's going against Deshae Townsend. He's about 100 pounds smaller than he is. Why do you have to hold? Pick him up and throw him down. But here's Jason Fabini right here. Keep an eye on him. Good blocking by the offensive line. Spread the defense out, spread the offense out, create a seam. Curtis Martin does a great job of hitting him. But look at Jason Fabini just throwing down Deshae Townsend. He should do that, but come on, he's a smaller guy. Just make your block.
Well, it costs New York a first down. Now facing a 3rd and 17. First possession, second half. Rollout for Lucas. Steps up in the pocket, looking to throw the deep ball. Into double coverage, almost picked off. Lee Flowers claims that he got it. Dwayne Washington with a terrific effort.
I can tell you what this play is. It's dash right. You move the pocket to the right. But here's where Wayne Corbett's smart. He's a seasoned player. He knows he doesn't have a chance to catch the ball. Strip the defensive player of the ball. Knock it away. Good job. He's falling to the ground. He's pushing the defender down. Smart play.
That's a tough pass for Lucas to throw. Corbett listed at 5'10", probably more like 5'8.5".
He's got long arms, though. Makes him about 5'11".
Did you check? Here's Tupou. Good punt from Tupou. Poteet from the 9. Middle of the field. He gets level. Bernie Parmalee. 55-yard boot and a 6-yard return for the rookie. Steelers, with their first possession, second half, nursing a 7-point lead. 10-3 game, 11:42 to play in the third quarter. And the Steelers with a 1st and 10 at the 16. There's Mike the fireman. I'm sure Bruce Harper would be proud. Formerly number 42. Double tight end set with Bruner and Truman for Pittsburgh. Stewart, play fake. They handle the rush, throws it, finds a seam, but it's incomplete. Hines Ward, a diving attempt, and may have been shaken up on the play. Victor Green continues in the stare-down mode after Ward made the attempt.
Nice job of a hit on Victor Green, and that's no man's land. When you're a defensive back, particularly a safety, if somebody comes across your middle, you establish your territory. You let the wide receiver know that you're not coming across the middle of my field, and Victor Green did just that.
Now Victor Green trying to establish his name throughout the league. He felt he deserved Pro Bowl honors last year. He's gotten off to a great start at the strong safety position this year. Give to Bettis. And green jerseys surrounding Jerome Bettis, including Jones and Pfeiffer. A gain of 4. 3rd and 6 coming up.
Now the New York Jets defense, they're going for the ball on Jerome Bettis. Watch him tackle Jerome Bettis, they'll go for the ball. Here the linebackers, a great job by Marvin Jones of playing off the big block in front of him of Rich Tilsky to get on the play. Now you're a 330-pound offensive lineman against a 250-pound back. You're supposed to win that battle, but the great leverage and the pursuit of Marvin Jones gets him in on the play.
And give some credit to Larry Tharp stepping in at right tackle because of the injury to Kordell. He's done a nice job, the veteran. On 3rd down, Stewart rushes on, unloads for Bruner, gets up and runs with a football. And Mark Bruner has a 1st down for Pittsburgh, a heads-up play. Stewart just got rid of it on the rush from Ray Mickens.
Big play by Mark Bruner. It's only his 6th reception of the year. They don't use the tight ends in this offense, but Kordell Stewart, he's under pressure, throws the ball out to his tight end. Mark Bruner makes an excellent effort on this play. Watch Bruner on the play. Kordell Stewart looks in the middle of the field. The read's not there. Here comes the blitz. Here's my hot read to the outside of my tight end. Get the ball to Bruner out there. Makes a great catch. But what I like more about it, he gets up and gets the 1st down.
And he didn't spike it. 1st and 10 at the 27. Bettis by himself in the backfield. He gets the call. Bettis meandering around that left side of the line and not much developing for him. Shane Burton able to cover him up. Gain of 4.
Jerome Bettis has had a solid day today. He's averaged over 100 yards a game in his last 3 games. And there are questions about his age, questions about him getting beaten up. He can't take the hits anymore. We talked to him. Jerome Bettis tells us, hey, I'm not worried about that. I can run the ball as effectively as I have in the past. The only thing I'm worried about is my shins and my ankles, because once I get by the line of scrimmage, those little defensive backs, that's where they like to hit me.
On the inside handoff, the Jets were ready for John Whitman. And give credit to Roman Pfeiffer, who read the play well. No gain.
And the Steelers are trying to get cute here. Giving the ball to John Whitman. It's only his 2nd carry of the year. A quick hitter right up the middle, but there's no way he's going to get any yardage on this play. Shane Burton gets into the hole. Left tackle Wayne Gandy did not do a good job on defensive end Shane Burton getting his helmet in the right spot and getting a push on the play.
Jets make some changes in their personnel. 7 new defenders step onto the field. In a passing situation, we'll call it a 3rd and 6. Stewart out of the shotgun, spread the field. 4 receivers underneath. He makes the connection to Edwards. Jets trying to sniff it out, and they do. Gang tackled at the 35. Victor Green helping to lead that charge, and again, tempers flaring after the play. Green combining with Brian Cox, a pickup of 3. And Pittsburgh will be forced to punt.
And the Steelers want to run a quick screen to the outside. They get blocking on the outside, but watch Ray Mickens, number 24. He's the first hit on the play. He slows up the receiver, Troy Edwards, on the play. But here comes the Jets defense to try to stop Edwards. With the first hit by Ray Mickens, if he doesn't make this hit right there on his leg, he picks up the 1st down.
It's a good point. That little stumble cost Troy Edwards, and he couldn't accelerate. Miller gets off a beauty, angling towards the sideline. And it's caught there by Ward. Flag on the play, in fact, 2 of them. back where Miller punted the football. A 41-yard punt, 2-yard return.
Be holding against the Steelers.
So the line of scrimmage would have been the 26-yard line. And we'll see how much the Jets benefit.
Holding 47 of the kicking team. 10 yards. Repeat, 4th down.
Well, did that look like the old Bill Cowher?
That looked like the old Bill Cowher. That looks like the Bill Cowher of old. I'll tell you what, he still has it. Anybody that would question the Bill Cowher just because this last couple years he hasn't had that success, as much success as he had in the past, they have to be crazy. First of all, they lost a ton of free agents that they couldn't re-sign. They just didn't have the cash capital to re-sign them. They left and went and played for other teams. And he's had a lot of rookies and a lot of young players that had to play for him that he's developed over the last year and a half.
So Miller will have to do it again. This time standing at his own 10. Jets should have excellent field position. Miller just gets it off. And that one floats out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. Dedrick Ward didn't even have an opportunity. And it will be from the 39-yard line. 10-3, Pittsburgh leading the Jets.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Avaya, communication without boundaries. The world's most popular ATVs, Honda, best on earth. And by NASDAQ.com, who can tell you more about stocks than the stock market.
Back in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Pittsburgh 10, Jets 3, 7:50 to play in the third. And this is certainly not the visual the Jet fans expected here today. Vinny Testaverde wearing a jacket on the sideline. Ray Lucas stepping in to replace him. Little dump off. Curtis Martin accelerating and brought down as he gets to the 44-yard line. Aaron Smith with a tackle and a 5-yard gain. Because of that penalty, and Miller had to punt it again, the Jets did pick up 13 yards from where the original spot was to the line of scrimmage to start this drive, the 39. Now facing a 2nd and 5 from the 44.
And I think quarterback Ray Lucas has to have the same mindset he had going into halftime. Move the ball, move it efficiently, get the ball down the field of play, and get points. He can't decide to get it all back in one play. And if you look at this offense, they need to do that, particularly establish the run early on the first down.
On the toss for Martin, waiting for something to develop. Spilled out, loses the football. Fumbled it at the 45. Lee Flowers knocked it out, and the Steelers get it. Curtis Martin is not known as a fumbler.
Levon Kirkland comes up with a fumble recovery. Big hit by Lee Flowers. Usually Curtis Martin does a wonderful job of protecting the football. Here he doesn't even see the hit coming. It's right in front of him, but he turns his body to the side.
The Pittsburgh native coughs it up, and the Steelers take over in Jets territory. Pittsburgh with a 1st and 10 at the New York 45. 7:02 to play in the third. Stewart with a deep drop. And a short throw to Plexico Burris out to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 4. Well, Curtis Martin gave out 30 tickets. He bought 30 extra tickets for friends and family from Pittsburgh. And Martin not known for this, fumbling.
One thing Curtis Martin definitely should know by watching the game films, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, if you see the defense converge around you, protect the football. Put 2 hands on it, because they're like heat-seeking missiles out of the secondary, and they lay licks on them.
On a 2nd and 6 from the 41. On the give, Bettis with a head of steam crosses the 40 and picks up 4. Mo Lewis the stop. NFL Today update. Jim Nance.
And we're updating that Miami defense in control again down at home in South Florida. A safety here as Jermaine Haley gets to Jonathan Linton. They've allowed the Bills so far only 44 total yards in the game. Let's go back now to Ian and Mark.
AFC East football once again tight with the Jets, Colts, Bills, Miami, New England trying to get out of the hole that they dug themselves early in the season. On a 3rd and 3, Stewart, short drop, he loses the football. And they'll rule it incomplete. John Abraham with the hit. A 3rd down speed rusher and carrying out his role.
This is a tremendous job by John Abraham. It's a 3-step drop for Kordell Stewart. 3 steps, turn and throw. He didn't get enough protection by the offensive line. John Abraham in the second half continues to come up with big plays for the Jets. Kordell Stewart does not even see them. He shouldn't. It's a 3-step drop. A quarterback should never be touched on a 3-step drop.
Well, you'd hope that people back home for Abraham would see that play, but they don't have a satellite dish, whether it's in Timminsville, what's the other place? Lamar, South Carolina. We're not sure where he's from. Miller gets it off. This one will take a bounce and roll into the end zone for the touchback. Miller took another hit, but no flag, and Miller is struggling. 38-yard punt, but a net of 18.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at guaranteed low prices. And by Cellular One. When you need a cell phone, Cellular One is here.
The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company has dispatched its Ohio-based blimp, Spirit of Goodyear, to provide aerial views of today's game. The Goodyear blimps have been appearing at sporting events since 1925. Happy to have the crew with us here today in New Jersey. And a 1st and 10 now from the 20 for the Jets. Lucas under pressure, unloads and complete. Anthony Becht bringing it in for an 11-yard gain. And a 1st down for New York. Jason Gildon once again getting into the pocket area and applying the hit on the QB.
Jason Gildon's had an outstanding season thus far this year. Coming into this game, he had 3 sacks. He puts pressure on quarterback Ray Lucas, but a good job of pitch and catch and concentration of quarterback Ray Lucas and his rookie tight end, Anthony Becht.
Should mention Josh Miller limped off the field, but he appears to be okay, the punter. On a 1st and 10, draw play. Curtis Martin trying to circle to the outside, and he is spilled out by Jason Gildon. We are told that combining carries and receptions, Curtis Martin had gone 544 straight touches without a fumble.
Well, that's one of those things. It's an anomaly. It just doesn't happen very often that he's going to fumble the ball and turn it over. And that's why the players on the sidelines and head coach Al Groh, no one said anything because they know that that never happens to Curtis Martin.
Also, coming into this game, the Jets were the only team not to lose a fumble in the NFL until today. 2nd and 7. Line of scrimmage, the 34. Draw play. It's Martin. A little misdirection. The Steelers were not expecting that initially, but the hole did clog up quickly. Kirkland and Henry combining a 4-yard gain.
And that's this Dan Henning offense. Multitudes of formations, minimal amount of plays. They move the tight end a lot around. They use the fullback as the H-back. And you can run the same 15 plays from 25 different formations, just moving the wide receivers and tight ends around. And that's what Dan Henning likes to do. The defense gets confused by the movement of the tight ends and the H-backs of the offense from New York Jets.
Ray Lucas, 10 of 19, 69 yards, and an interception so far. And this is a 3rd and 3, moving pocket. Lucas on the rollout, trying to set it up timing-wise, and Corbett feels that he was hit. Deshae Townsend had the matchup. And Wayne Corbett jawing at the officials.
Wayne Corbett's had a difficult day already, and it looks like Deshae Townsend slips before the ball gets there. Wayne Corbett feels he's going to interfere when he slips before the ball gets there.
Well, there is a pull down by Townsend, grabbing at the jersey of Corbett as he was falling. Take a look. Or it wasn't even the jersey, it was the elbow. No flag on the play. Frustration continues for Corbett. And the Jets offense as a whole. Tupa. Gorgeous spiral to Poteet from the 6. Poteet blocked out at the 12-yard line. John Abraham, tremendous pursuit on special teams. 10-3. 10-3 Pittsburgh. 3:18 left in the 3rd. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Meadowlands to face the Jets for the first time in 10 years. They have dominated the all-time series with a mark of 12-1. That has very little to do with what's happening here today as Bettis gets the carry and runs off tackle for a gain of 6. Marvin Jones the stop. This Pittsburgh team is young. They do have choice veterans in certain areas. But that victory last week against Jacksonville did a lot in terms of building a steam, and the coaching staff can now tell the young players, hey, that's what practice does. It pays off on Sunday.
Plus, it allows you to go out in public now in Pittsburgh.
That's a good point. Here's Bettis. Able to get through the hole and cross the 20-yard line. A pickup of 3. He needed 4 for the first down. Brian Cox, the tackle on the play. And as mentioned, Cincinnati and Cleveland coming up. Back-to-back home games for the Steelers. And they can somehow hold on here, improve to 2-3, and then take care of the competition within the division. You might be looking at an entirely different 2000 season for this Pittsburgh club. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the third. Jet crowd trying to cheer on this defense in a 3rd-and-1 situation for Pittsburgh. Play clock winding down, and Stewart needs a timeout. We'll return. More third-quarter action in a 10-3 game.
Tina Sinatra on her father's last days, the woman she wishes he hadn't married, and what he and the mob did for Jack Kennedy. 60 Minutes tonight.
CBS Friday. Why would someone who just won $40 million in Vegas commit suicide?
Norman pushed. Norman jumped. Norman fell.
When the pieces of the puzzle just don't fit. These are the investigators who can crack the case.
Gotcha.
All new CSI, CBS Friday.
Get live updates for each NFL game as they happen. Click on live scores at cbs.sportsline.com. Our live score here is 10-3 Pittsburgh. A 3rd-and-1 at the 22 for the Steelers offense. 2 minutes to play in the third. Once again, the crowd getting vocal. Shotgun for Stewart. Steelers handle the rush. And Stewart finds Bobby Shaw spinning around at the 32. And they'll move the chains for Pittsburgh. A gain of 10 through the air.
Bobby Shaw's their slot receiver. He averages 17 yards of reception, and he is one of the other veterans out here. He's a third-year player. He always finds a seam to get open, and both quarterbacks, not only Kordell Stewart but Kent Graham, they have the utmost confidence in Bobby Shaw, particularly on 3rd down. That's an area where the Jets have to pay attention. When he's on the field to play, they look to Bobby Shaw first.
He was signed off Seattle's practice squad in 1998 and has found a nice niche for himself here in the Pittsburgh offense. With a head of steam, Jerome Bettis is brought down after a gain of 3 by Shane Burton. And the clock moving as we approach 1 minute left in the third quarter.
And that's why Jerome Bettis is a quarterback's best friend, because he will rarely lose yardage on a running play. He will hit the hole hard. He will always pick up positive yardage 98% of the time, and he'll put the quarterback in a good position on 2nd down situations.
Well, we've seen a number of firsts here today. The Jets fumbling for the first time this year. The Jets giving up a rushing touchdown for the first time this year. Maybe we see another first with Pittsburgh looking for its first passing touchdown of the season. Some chicanery of their own. Troy Edwards flagged down. Edwards remaining on his feet and forced out of bounds at the 49. But a hold on John Whitman might bring this one back. The fullback, number 38 for Pittsburgh, was in that area where the flag was placed. 14-yard gain before the penalty.
Illegal hands to the face. 56 defense. 5 yards. First down.
Wow. Roman Pfeiffer. That's not what the Jets were expecting. They were pointing towards the Pittsburgh side of the field.
John Whitman really made a great block, but I'll tell you what, Kelvin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a wonderful call. It's a well-executed call. They run their lineman to the left like it's a counter play. They bring Troy Edwards all the way around to the right on a reverse. Kordell Stewart's out there trying to lay a block. Block somebody. Kordell, get out of the way. But it's a great job of the offense of executing a reverse. It's a very difficult play to run. I've been there. If you don't get the right call at the right time of the game, it could be a major loss.
And look at the line of scrimmage. The 45 of New York. Play fake. Stewart floats one to Geeson. And Corey Geeson able to extend himself for a gain of 8. Mo Lewis in on the stop.
And what's surprising, the tight ends are a factor in this game. That's 2 receptions by the tight ends. Coming in the game, all the tight ends only had 6 receptions combined. But Corey Geeson's open out in the flat, catches the ball. Nice part of their offense to use. Kordell Stewart needs to use his tight ends a little bit more.
And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Steelers looking to hand New York its first loss of the season. 10-3 Pittsburgh. We'll come back to East Rutherford after this word from your local station. Start of the fourth quarter. Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew with you from the Meadowlands, Pittsburgh. And Bill Cowher in front, 10-3 over the Jets. Al Groh, his players buying in through the first quarter of the season. Can they orchestrate another fourth quarter comeback? 15 minutes on the clock. With Pittsburgh on the move. Up the middle, it's Jerome Bettis, met by Mo Lewis. Now the Jets have been soaring in the fourth quarter so far this season. 3 fourth quarter come from behind victories. You see the wins coming over Green Bay, New England, Tampa Bay, an incredible win on the road. Needing a fumble from Mike Allstott. They got a fumble from Mike Allstott. Then the halfback option. They win the game. Such positive thoughts. Not here today.
But the biggest difference, Vinny Testaverde was a quarterback in those fourth quarter comebacks.
It's Ray Lucas today because of a pinched nerve to Testaverde. Fakes the pass. Stewart looking to run it. Getting to the outside, straddling that sideline, and it's enough for the first down. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line, 11-yard run by Kordell Stewart.
Now this is all Kordell Stewart, pure athleticism. Here he fakes the pass to the right. He knows he's going to run it to the left. He's got Jerome Bettis out in front of him. But the great thing about Kordell Stewart, watch his body control. He could easily go out of bounds right here. But no, he stays inbounds, uses his body, and picks up the first down.
Nice block by Alan Faneca. And Stewart used it well. A minute gone by on the fourth. 1st and 10 from the New York 22. Double tight end set. Stewart. Handed off. Bettis avoids a tackle. And then able to find an opening as he crosses the 20 for a gain of 4. Sean Ellis, first man there to help make the tackle.
It's one thing about this Jets defense, they will bleed the offense dry. They will not give up very many big plays. They will make you earn every inch along the way. And that's new offensive coordinator Mike Nolan's forte. He was a coordinator with the Washington Redskins, had a lot of problems there, but the Redskins at the end of the season in the playoffs really picked it up defensively. Now he basically inherits a Bill Belichick defense. He was the guy that had to learn the defense. Usually when a coordinator comes in, it's the players that learn the coordinator's defense. He was the person that had to learn actually the players' defense.
Yeah, Victor Green said it's like a free agent coming over from another team, having to learn an entirely different system. On the give for Bettis. This time it's Mo Lewis making the stop down low. A pickup of 3. And it'll set up 3rd and 3.
What Mo Lewis does well is he gets off blocks, particularly tight ends. If tight ends are going to try to block him one-on-one, he can shed their blocks, and the entire defensive front of the Jets are wonderful at this. They don't stay on blockers very long. They get to the tackle.
We asked him, has Al Groh, your former linebacker coach, changed as the head coach? He said, yeah. Heck, yes, he's changed. You would expect him to change from a position coach to a head coach.
A lot more responsibility.
3rd and 3. Stewart in the pocket, stepping up. Gets rid of it at the 10, and Pittsburgh feels they have a first down. In stride, Kordell Stewart hits John Whitman.
Brian Cox did an excellent job of getting to Kordell Stewart, but just a step too late. For John Whitman, it's his 4th reception of the game. He's touched the ball twice. He doesn't get that many opportunities, but Brian Cox just whips the right tackle and Larry Front.
And the ball spotted at the 10. Pittsburgh in front. Still able to use clock with some long drives here this afternoon. And now a first down. Stewart, fade pattern. That's why Burris is on this team. Incomplete. Plexico Burris has been waiting for an opportunity to get a jump ball situation at 6 foot 5.5 inches tall, matched up with Marcus Coleman, who's 6'2".
And he still doesn't get the opportunity. Right here, they're trying to get him the ball, but you've got a 6'2" defensive back in front of him. He doesn't have a chance to get up there. That ball's just a little too high for Plexico Burris. But when you look at the matchup between those two, 6'2" defensive back, not many in the NFL. Guy that can run, can jump, can cover. Then a 6 foot 5.5 wide receiver. He's the height of a tight end.
Now a 2nd and goal from the 10. As mentioned, Steelers do not have a passing touchdown this season. Play clock is down to 1. They get the play off. Stewart standing tall in the pocket. Complete. Touchdown, Bobby Shaw. Pittsburgh adds to its lead. And the first passing touchdown of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not Kent Graham, normally the starter. It's Kordell Stewart.
Fabulous job by Kordell Stewart of waiting out the route. Excellent protection up front. On the outside, Bobby Shaw runs a post pattern. Kordell Stewart's eyeballing him on the way. He's not looking at anybody else. He's got a defender in front of him and one right behind him. And Bobby Shaw splits both of them and comes down with a touchdown reception.
Chris Brown, the extra point. A 13-play, 87-yard drive. 6 minutes and 47 seconds come off the clock. And Stewart finds Shaw for the score. 17-3. Pittsburgh with a big lead. A 2-touchdown disparity here at the Meadowlands and a helpless situation for Vinny Testaverde. His team trailing 17-3. Kordell Stewart has been able to maneuver 2 long drives for the Steelers. One ending in a 12-yard touchdown run by Jerome Bettis. The other a touchdown pass from Stewart. This is Dwight Stone, the former Steeler, getting to the outside. And Stone is tripped up at the 39-yard line. These fans thought that Stone had a chance to break it. A 40-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. With private payments from American Express, you can shop securely online. IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Pennzoil with Pure Base, protection so strong you can see the difference.
Welcome back. East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giants Stadium. Al Groh hoping to avoid his first loss as an NFL head coach. His team trailing 17-3, and Bill Cowher. Steelers football is back, according to him. That toughness, the way they are able to put a stamp on a game, running the football and combining it with their defense. 5 wide receiver look for Ray Lucas. Comes out throwing and finds the open man, Wayne Corbett. For a gain of 5 on first down, Deshae Townsend with a stop. Hurry up offense for the Jets, no huddle. On a 2nd and 5 from the 45. Lucas steps up and he'll run it. Nice fake and a first down as he gets into Pittsburgh territory at the 49.
And I talked about it earlier. Ray Lucas was most effective against the Pittsburgh defense in the last 2 minutes of the first half when he was running their red ball, their no-huddle offense, and their hurry-up offense.
On first down. Dropped. Wayne Corbett could not hang on to it. In a matchup with Deshae Townsend.
This is the ball Wayne Corbett should catch. It's right on his fingers right there. He should bring that ball in and catch it for the first down. But here's the question mark. Richie Anderson coming into the game has done an outstanding job catching the football. He's led the team in receptions. He was open on that play. Ray Lucas has to start looking off Wayne Corbett because that's where he's going with the football and throwing the ball to other players on the offense and spraying it around because the Pittsburgh defense, they're going to start rotating towards Corbett and taking him out of the field.
Anderson, 1 catch today, a loss of 1 on that play. 2nd and 10 now. Lucas guns. Wide open, Lavernius Coles. And the Jets now in business. Line of scrimmage is the 30-yard line. 18 yards on the pass play.
That's exactly what I was saying. Go away from Wayne Corbett, work him off. And quarterback Ray Lucas does just that, and they get the first down.
Shotgun for Lucas. In trouble. Loses the football. And the Steelers have it. Joey Porter knocked it away. And Lucas did not see the hit coming. Kevin Henry with the recovery. Another Jets turnover. And New York in big trouble. Their undefeated season very much in jeopardy. Al Groh told us we see a lot of ourselves in the Pittsburgh Steelers on Friday when we spoke with him. And it has been the Pittsburgh Steelers playing opportunistic football. Defensively, they've been outstanding. 3rd New York turnover, and Pittsburgh takes over 1st and 10 at the 35. Too high upstairs for Troy Edwards. Incomplete. Gives us a chance to get an NFL Today update. Send it over to Jim Nantz.
All right, thank you very much. Up at New England, look at this. The Patriots have taken the lead on the Colts. Bledsoe under heavy pressure gets it away to Bjornsson. 17-13 lead. Pats, fourth quarter. Back to Ian and Mark.
Now the AFC East looking all the more interesting after some of the things that we've seen on this Sunday afternoon.
Very competitive in the AFC East, and the best defenses in the NFL are all in the AFC East.
Other than Tampa Bay.
No, but I mean as a whole, as a conference.
Gotcha.
When you look at the division, it's the best division for defense.
Agreed. On the give for Bettis, Farrier and Jones collaborating. Let's talk about Kordell Stewart here. Still plenty of time in this game. 9:50 to go in the fourth. A 17-3 Pittsburgh lead. But you know, Bill Cowher keeps telling us, and the feeling in Pittsburgh, no quarterback controversy. This is Kent Graham's team. Well, if the score holds up, Kordell Stewart will have won back-to-back starts, stepping in for the injured Graham. And with the likes of Cincinnati and Cleveland coming up on the schedule, a critical time for this Pittsburgh team. Is there a QB controversy?
I think there will be. And as a player, I've been through these before. You want the guy in there with a hot hand, with a hot trigger finger. And that's Kordell Stewart right at this point. He's executing this offense magnificently. Hey, you've won games with him. Leave him in there.
Fuamatu Ma'afala. Thrown down at midfield and a first down for Pittsburgh. 14 yards.
Now, and I said it before, the Steelers are the best in the NFL at running screens. And here's another job. Center, Dermontti Dawson, they pass off the stun inside. He tries to get out. He gets downfield and gets blocks, and it's the offensive line. Tilsky getting the block. Down the field, Larry Tharp, the third right tackle in the game, gets a block down the field of play. And Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala is smart enough to follow his blockers.
Into Jets territory at the 49 and a 1st and 10. That was a big third down. Jets trying to get the football back. Bettis leaping a bit for a gain of 3. Shane Burton and Victor Green both in on the stop. You know, with Kordell also, Bill Cowher said to us, the situation hardened him over the last few years. And Stewart was riding such a high in that slash role, and then when he took over the starting role that first season, had a great year. Everybody thought you could win with a Kordell Stewart. Well, last couple of years, the feelings and the perceptions have changed around the league and certainly have changed in Pittsburgh.
They definitely have. And for Kordell Stewart, you have to take your hat off to him. He survived it. He's grown. He's learned from the situation. And I think he's become a better quarterback.
There's Bettis, the bus struggling forward and brought down at the 42-yard line, a gain of 4. And they'll face another third down. Jason Wiltz with a tackle. And Stewart told us flat out yesterday, I've taken on a me against the world attitude, philosophy.
He's been backed into the corner, and that's the way to react, and he's done it the right way. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, they have to execute, particularly on third down. But what Kordell Stewart has done today, this is what I like. No interceptions. He's protected the ball. He's taken his offense on long drives to score touchdowns, and he's putting his team in a position to win.
On a 3rd and 3. Time now becoming a factor. If Pittsburgh can keep this drive alive. Stewart steps up in the pocket, throws into some heavy traffic, and somehow caught Troy Edwards. First down, Pittsburgh. Aaron Glenn and Roman Pfeiffer with the coverage.
This is a perfectly thrown ball by quarterback Kordell Stewart. If he throws it anyplace else, it's knocked away or intercepted. He put it in a spot where Troy Edwards could receive the ball and no one else could.
Jets defensive players looking at one another saying, how did he make that catch and how did Stewart make that throw? And they keep the drive alive. A 1st and 10 at the 35. Down to 6:40 and counting left in the 4th. 17-3 Pittsburgh. Here's Stewart directing traffic on the line of scrimmage. And the play never happens. Flags down.
False start, 72 offense, 5 yards. It's still first down.
Wayne Gandy with a penalty. Hey, see what some of the quarterback club members like Warren Moon, Rich Gannon, and Donovan McNabb had to say in their weekly diaries. You can check it out only on NFL.com.
You saw Cowher's face on the sideline screaming at his players. I used to have vocal coaches like that. You try to tune them out if you made a mistake. And you really can't. You can hear them in the background, but you try to ignore them because you know what they're saying and you can hear what they're saying. Look at the players on the sidelines. They're kind of laughing because they're listening to what Bill Cowher's saying about his players.
Which coaches are you talking about in particular?
Well, some offensive line coaches, a couple of head coaches.
Oh, no names? You're not throwing names
No,
out?
no.
On 1st and 15, Bettis turning it upfield. And Jerome Bettis spilled out at the 30-yard line for a gain of 10. Larry Tharp with another block, key block for this Pittsburgh offensive line. Tharp in an emergency role in at right tackle.
What the offense is able to do is they've been beating on the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers of the New York Jets the entire game. Now it's starting to take its effect. You've got a 250-pound back. When they don't get a lot of yards on 1st and 2nd down, they bring in another 250-pound back, and Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala, he runs the screen games, the 3rd down situations for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But on 1st and 2nd down, it's the battering ram and Jerome Bettis beating the defense around.
And you see the differential. Jets came in as 7th best in the NFL against the run. There's Bettis trying to work the middle of the field, sidestepping and picking up a few yards on the play up the middle. Dwayne Gordon with a stop. Counting down to 5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
And the one thing about Kordell Stewart in this game, he's used the clock to his advantage. He's taken his time, particularly in the 2nd half. He's not in a hurry. He's relaxed in the huddle. He's taking time off the clock. Long drives for the Pittsburgh Steelers today has really eaten up the clock. And the Jets just don't have a chance to come back and put points on the board. When they get the ball, they've got to throw the ball. And the situation now is they need to create a turnover to get the ball back, or the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to put the nail in the coffin very soon.
Jets defense had a couple of opportunities on this drive to stop Pittsburgh on 3rd down. They've been unable to do so. This is a 3rd and 1. Bettis has the 1st down and then some. This is Pittsburgh Steeler football.
Hey, it's smash mouth football. It's a time of the game where you take over as an offensive line in the running game, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have. Larry Tharp, the right tackle, did an outstanding job on Mo Lewis of sizing him up, butting him in the mouth, and then turning his hips and shoulders and floating him to the inside, and Jerome Bettis followed his blocks.
Bill Cowher, his team opening up 0-3. That was uncharted territory for Cowher. As the head coach of the Steelers, so much success through the years, but a chance to move to 2-3 with divisional matchups against Cincinnati and Cleveland coming up at home back-to-back. Fuamatu-Ma'afala able to emerge through the pile and pick up 5 yards, and there's the smile. Or at least the makings of a smile from Bill Cowher.
He's loving it. As an ex-player, he knows in situations like this, he used to play linebacker and special teams in the NFL, that these are the situations for a defense. It breaks your spirit because you can't stop the offense. Picking up 4, 5, 6 yards on 1st down, the clock's winding down, you're ahead in the game. You are controlling the game at this point. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line in the running game, they have the Jets exactly where they want them.
Another first today. A rusher has gone over 100 yards against the Jets defense. Jerome Bettis, 25 carries, 107 yards on the ground. There's Fuamatu-Ma'afala. He is met at the line of scrimmage by Sean Ellis. And now for the Jets. You know, a 4-0 start, feeling good about themselves, had the bye week. Al Groh gave his team 3 days off, didn't have to report until Tuesday of this week. On Wednesday, he broke out the visual aids, handed out flashlights to the team on Wednesday. Again, a takeoff on what Keyshawn Johnson had to say about a week and a half ago, calling himself a shining star and Wayne Corbett nothing more than a flashlight. And Groh had his team shine the flashlights onto the wall individually, one by one, until there was a big light, saying that it took the whole team to create a star. Fuamatu-Ma'afala getting another carry. And this team was worried about this matchup with Pittsburgh. This coach was worried about this matchup with Pittsburgh. And their reservations have become a reality. Just over 3 minutes left. A timeout taken in a 17-3 game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by MVP.com. And by America's Air Force. No one comes close.
Well, whenever the Goodyear blimp is hovering above a game with its camera focused on an event, you know you're going to get a unique view. That's what we've had here this afternoon. Overhead is the Goodyear spirit of Goodyear. 17-3 game. Chris Brown on for a 29-yard field goal, and it's perfect. Steelers with a 20-3 advantage over the Jets.
I think Al Groh has to go back and look at his team. And When we talked to him the other day, he told us about point blank, we need to start faster. We need to start games. We really can't get behind and depend on fourth quarter comebacks. They came out of the box. Obviously, they lost their quarterback and Vinny Testaverde the first play of the game. But the key for the rest of the offense to pick it up, they needed to move the ball offensively and put points on the board. They just didn't get it done.
You know, I think true Blue Jet fans would tell you before this game that this is the exact kind of game that the Jets could lose. Prosperity when they're enjoying success. Oftentimes, you get hit over the head with a loss that you don't really expect. So through the years, Jet fans have expected these types of games. And a 20-3 game, the Jets showing very little on the offensive end here today against a good Pittsburgh defense, mind you, but a team that, hey, you look at numbers, they're 1-3.
And they are, but the bottom line is when you look at, they go to Jacksonville, and I keep bringing that up, rush for 209 yards as a team against the Jacksonville Jaguar, Don Capers coach defense. That doesn't happen very often. So you know that you're battling a very physical football team, and I think the Jets players, they knew that coming into this game.
White Stone will take it out. And Stone is down at the 19-yard line. Mike Vrabel with a stop on special teams. Well, coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader here on CBS. The Bay Area battle. Oakland at San Francisco. And some of you will see Cleveland taking on Arizona. That's all coming up on CBS. Well, Lucas did not come to the stadium here today expecting to be in there on the second play from scrimmage, but that's exactly what happened. A pinched nerve, Vinny Testaverde, a hit from Jason Gildon, and Testaverde was never able to come back into this game. Lucas took over, and the offense has been subpar here this afternoon. Under 3 minutes to play now. Set up the screen to the flat. And Curtis Martin able to pad his stats. Stopped by Chad Scott. Well, the Jets now trailing by 3 scores. Down to 2:34 and count. Shotgun formation for Lucas. Steps up and throws. Anderson knocked up in the air and an interception. Brent Alexander flagged down as Alexander was working the sideline.
That'll be a clip on Joey Porter on the flag. But for Richie Anderson, that's a ball that's in his hands. It's a little high. It's just concentration at this point. What happens when you're behind in the football game?
Return, illegal block from behind, 55, 10 yards, first down.
There's the Joey Porter penalty, as you mentioned.
With the ball right off his fingertips. And here's the situation. He's leading the team in receptions coming in. Even though that ball's high, that's a ball that's a catchable ball. You get both hands on it right there, he should catch that ball. Tipped in the air, and it's intercepted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right at the end of the play, you're going to see Joey Porter right there. There's the clip on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Alexander with his first interception of the season. And 2:23 left on the clock. You see what the Jets have done their last 4 possessions.
And that's incredible. You know, for this offense, even though the backup quarterback's in there, you got a Curtis Martin, you got a Wayne Trebek. You would think we'd be able to at least get first downs and execute and get points. This offense, very slow today and stagnant. I said it early in the game. They seem flat coming out of the gate.
Well, Lucas was successful in a starting role last year for the Jets. Inside handoff, John Whitman, and some believe, including myself, that Ray Lucas could start for a number of teams around the NFL. In fact, you look at the Pittsburgh situation and figured, hey, that might have been a situation that would have been a nice fit for Lucas. You've heard all the stories about Chad Pennington and the Steelers electing not to draft him, instead going for Plexico Burress in that first round. Pennington very easily could have been a Steeler himself. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh, they've dominated the Jets over the years. They've dominated them here today. Steeler fans well represented here on the Giants' home stadium. And Bill Cowherd's team with a 20-3 lead. Fuamatsu Ma'afala in the backfield. Two timeouts remaining. And one will be used right now with 1:52 left. Well, coming up for the Pittsburgh Steelers, mentioned Cincinnati and Cleveland back-to-back. Then on the road, a couple of tough games at Baltimore, at Tennessee. But with a renewed confidence in this Pittsburgh team, while they'll tell you, hey, we just keep our focus on the game at hand, yeah, sure. I'm going to trust you, a former player that says, hey, you look at the schedule. That's the way it works.
One game at a time. But everybody looks at this. You see Cincinnati and Cleveland. Well, you think they're winnable games. Cincinnati's played much better under Dick LeBeau the last 2 weeks. Cleveland is a team that's beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 out of the last 3. So on paper, you may think they're easy wins. And I've known this for a long time as a player. You look on it, you say, well, that's a win, that's a win. But there's always that team that just sneaks up and beats you. Look at this game today. The New York Jets 4-0, the Steelers 1-3. Most people think, hey, it's a winnable game for the Jets. Steelers come in here and they dominate.
On third down, Fuamatu Ma'afala breaks a tackle. Taking it to the outside, and Fuamatu Ma'afala is forced out of bounds at the 16. Marvin Jones had a chance to bring him down, a 22-yard run. I'll give credit to the Pittsburgh defense here today, holding the Jets offense in check and holding that man, a Pittsburgh native, under his season average.
Look at these guys. Eddie George, Fred Taylor, just dominating. And I think a lot of it goes back to their defensive coordinator, Tim Lewis. He believed in this team. They go one-on-one on the outside. They stun a lot with that 3-4 defense, and they play the run very well. They've got those big linebackers. They cheat up to the line of scrimmage. They don't let a back get through the holes, through the cracks. They make them go laterally. They do a great job at that, and that's what happened to Curtis Martin today. He couldn't get through the cracks and pick up the big yardage.
15 carries, 59 yards for Curtis Martin. Steelers take a knee with 1:35 and counting left in the fourth. Now coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, Tina Sinatra on her father's last days. The woman she wishes that he hadn't married, and what he and the mob did for Jack Kennedy tonight on 60 Minutes. Well, the Jets were looking for their 9th consecutive win. That would have matched a club record dating back to 1986 when they opened up 10-1. That year they finished, though, 10-6. The fourth quarter comeback never materialized. They've been living off of them so far in this young season. And off the bye week, the Jets will suffer their first loss. And for the green and white now, the focus becomes the health of Vinny Testaverde. Pinched nerve suffered. First play from scrimmage. Back-to-back victories for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kordell Stewart. The Steelers shocked the Jets here at the Meadowlands. The first loss of the Al Groh era. Pittsburgh 20, New York 3. Bill Cowher's team back on track, improving to 2-3. The Jets dropped to 4-1. Well, coming up, NFL Today postgame show. Join Jim, Mike, Randy. All the scores and highlights, latest NFL news. That's coming up on the NFL Today postgame show. For Mark May, our entire CBS crew here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, this is Ian Eagle. Steelers won it 20-3 over the Jets. The NFL on CBS.
And hi, everybody. Jim Nance with you, back from our NFL Today studios off 5th Avenue in New York. Mike Ditka, Randy Cross alongside. And hats off to Bill Cowher after his team goes to 0-3. He wins 2 road games at Jacksonville, at the Jets, and now only Minnesota and St. Louis are undefeated in the NFL.
Well, I hate to say that Jerry's right, but he is right, because this looks like the Steelers of old. Playing defense, playing offense, they're doing what they have to do. And Kordell Stewart is not hurting them. He's not making mistakes.
Remember, that's why Kordell Stewart was a backup quarterback, and that's what Kordell Stewart seems to have learned during the time on the bench behind Kent Graham, is just to concentrate and to not rush and make those mistakes that defensive coordinators will kind of trick you into.
Bettis over 100 yards again today, 107 yards and a touchdown. And now coming up for the Steelers, Cincinnati and Cleveland at Three Rivers. Now coming up here on CBS this doubleheader day, most of you will see the Raiders taking on the Niners. Others will see the Seahawks at the Panthers. Brock Heward's first NFL start. The Broncos against the Chargers. Davis is out. Anderson back into the backfield for the Bronx. Or that Browns team taking on Arizona. Cleveland looking for a 3rd win of the season. Let's get everybody up to speed elsewhere around the league. Dolphins lead over Buffalo. The Miami defense just returned a fumble. Sam Madison for a touchdown. Flutie getting his first action of the season for Wade Phillips' team that was really shut down for the first 3 quarters of this game by that vaunted Miami defense. That's Leslie Shepard pulling down a touchdown in the first half. And this is when the Bills started to get back into it in the fourth. Sammy Morris, what a stiff arm there, Mike.
That's the old style, I tell you. That was well done right there. They were after Rob Johnson all day. This Miami defense, and they might have given up 15 points in this game, but they are really playing tough football. Look at it. A good hard hit, get the turnover, and they score a touchdown. And this is all D, and it's Miami D.
That was the killer, though. The Bills had come back within 2, had possession, and Morris, after having that great play with the stiff arm, coughs it up. Madison runs it back, and the Dolphins lead at the 2-minute mark. Buffalo has possession of the football, but down 9, needing 2 scores. Colts and Patriots, and look at New England today. 3 touchdown passes, and one of them was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half.
Well, Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots kind of had the other offense in the game because Peyton Manning and the Colts came in, and when they get together, that means Marvin Harrison. And here on that touchdown pass, they get the lead. But late in the first half, Michael Bishop, first NFL pass, first NFL touchdown to Tony Simmons. Terrible defense. That sent him in at the half, all tied at 10-10. But Drew Bledsoe came back after that later in the half. Look at the sweet feet of Terry Glenn at the back of the end zone. New England has played defense just like Bill Belichick plays defense.
3:31 to go in that game, and the Colts about to get the football back as New England's about to punt the football away at midfield. Elsewhere, Titans and the Bengals, and Tennessee has just gotten a 3rd Del Greco field goal of the day to give them some breathing room at Cincinnati. And the Bengals had only 3 first downs in the first half, but led thanks to some big plays.
80-yard touchdown. Go into that play, Dillon had 7 carries for 8 yards. After that play, 8 carries for 80 yards. Wonderful blocking, good running, and good anticipation here by McNair getting the ball and a quick touchdown. Tennessee and Jeff Fisher took this game over because Eddie George started pounding the ball. 174 yards rushing up to that point in the football game, and they physically took the game over from the Bengals, who had the emotional edge, but physically it was Tennessee.
$1:30 to go in that game. Bengals have the football at the 35 of the Titans, but they too are down 2 scores, down 9. Redskins and the Eagles. Skip Hicks has scored a touchdown for the Redskins. All tied at 14 with 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Always a war there at Philadelphia.
It really is, and I tell you what, the Eagles are playing good defense, pretty solid offense. They're getting the thing done in a lot of different areas, Jim, and it's a good, solid football team, really.
All right, and elsewhere around the league, Green Bay and the Lions. And the Lions took control of this game in the first half with a couple of batch touchdown passes and an interception return of a Favre pass for a score.
Mike, you and I said it was going to be because Brett Favre they were going to win. Yeah. It was because Brett Favre they lost.
And the Saints winning the Ditka Bowl by 3 touchdowns at Chicago. Blake with a couple of touchdown passes. Ricky Williams has also scored. He's over 100 yards. And look at the Saints about to win a 2nd game of the season.